All right, hello everyone. A lot of changes, obviously to the team. Oh, that's my camera going. Whoops. A lot of changes to the team, obviously, and we're here to break it all down today. Hold on one second. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. How's my mic sound? Do you guys hear like background noise or anything, or is it okay? I'm seeing like background noise for some reason. Hold on, I might have to hide my screen for a second here. Give me 1 second. No, okay, it looks fine, honestly. I don't know what's going on there. I might have to change a filter. All right, whatever. I hope the mic's just gonna be fine enough for today. All right. So, we got to see some of the new guys tonight, which I think was pretty cool to see. I was honestly not really expecting to see any of these new guys until like Saturday. But to see that Ivy, Simons, and Yabusele were all here today was pretty cool. So, glad to see we got those guys. Glad to see those guys tonight, and I think honestly all three of them like really showed some pretty decent play in from all three. Like that's actually pretty solid, all things considered. They don't know the playbook, right? They like just got here and had like a shoot around, and they're like, yeah, you know what? They acclimated, pretty well. They were just kind of out there and adjusting kind of on the fly, but I think they did a pretty decent job tonight. I think they deserve a lot of credit for going out there tonight and, probably playing for some of them playing extended minutes and putting up a pretty decent performance when they don't really know what's going on. So, pretty cool to see from these guys. Shows just kind of at least like professionalism that they have for because again like they didn't have to play tonight, but they decided to do that, which is pretty cool. So a lot of other trades are still pending. We're gonna have to kind of wait for some of these other trades to kind of get finalized here, but we have to see obviously. Buzelis get a little bit more, just kind of like a bigger role. I think Buzelis honestly played pretty well tonight. He had some really good defensive moments. I think that Brandon Ingram still just kind of scored. I'm just like, hey, you know what? Good defense. We'll take it. Jalen Smith continues just to be like just solid, but I'm honestly shocked he's still here. We'll talk about kind of the Bulls trade deadline decisions a little bit later after we kind of cover the game today, but. Yeah, I'm shocked that Jalen Smith is still here. I'm shocked Trey Jones is still here. I don't understand that, honestly. It kind of seems like for the Bulls that it's just like, well, if you're an expiring, you're going. If you're not, then we're keeping you for some reason, which is just like, okay, that's weird as hell. Patrick Williams still sucks. Newsflash. Yuki had an insanely good first half. He had 7 assists in that first half and just some insane passes. That was fun to watch. And then we can get into just like some of these new guys. I think Jaden Ivey had a really kind of like nice first half, hit a couple of jump shots. We saw that one like kind of drive for his first bucket. That was pretty good to see. In the first half, I think he played like pretty all right. We saw like some decent defense in like the end of the second quarter from him. And we saw him, willing to like passed the ball pretty, like when it was obvious times to pass it. Created an open 3-point shot for Anthony Simons, which was fine. I will say though, like for a guy that has watched Jaden Ivey for a bit now, I mean, again, we've seen him in Detroit, but then I also got to watch him the year that I went to summer league, and Jaden Ivey was playing for the Detroit Pistons that season. So was Jalen Duren, but in the summer league, and it's just like it is just very odd to see like it's very evident that his like quick first step is definitely gone. Now here's the thing, I'm not here to say like it's like gone completely from his career, because like I'm not here to say that after a pretty big injury for him, like again like broken fibula, and then he had to have another surgery to start the season. But I really do think that as he gets farther away from the injury, that he's going to look better. Like his burst is going to be better. I just don't know how much better. But the one thing that I did see today that was like, okay, like this is actually like, you know what, even if like let's say he doesn't get really much of his burst back, his jump shot is still really smooth. Like, his jump shot, like, even if it's, like, trying just to create some separation, like, it's quick. It's just, he gets it off like that, man. We saw him, hit a step back three in the second half. We saw him in the first half, just like hit like a catch and shoot three in rhythm, and then kind of moving around, and Yuki had to throw him a pass, and he hit a shot from mid range, right? Like, that's good to see. He did miss a layup that I was just like, like, it definitely wasn't his like usual quick burst that I'm used to seeing from Jaden Ivey, and like, again, we're talking about his first 3 years, but it was more physicality. It was more like, I'm just gonna like muscle my way to the rim, and I thought that was like interesting to see. Like, he might have to kind of rely on that a little bit more now that, like, again, his burst just isn't like fully as it once was. But I do think that kind of with his build, like, he can kind of rely on that. Like, he's not like he's not like super small, right? Where he's gonna like need the burst to have that sort of advantage. Like, he does have like a pretty like decently sized like upper body. Like, he's a little bit like kind of bigger in a sense. So I'm hoping that it's either for him, he's gonna like kind of either lean into that, where he's just gonna more rely like on his like physicality, like good upper body frame, and his strength to kind of like get him some buckets, and work on his like deceleration moments to kind of create some advantages, and obviously his ball handling, or obviously his quickness comes back. Like, if his quickness comes back, then like I do like say like, yeah, potential all-star here, but that's a big if. Like, I mean, a broken fibula is it can really like hurt your quickness. So we'll see. Again, I do think he'll be better the farther he gets away from his injury with his quickness. Again, I just don't know how much though, but I think we saw some good signs tonight. Simons is doing his thing. I already know a lot of Bulls fans are going to be like super pissed off at Simons for his shot selection, his 3-point shots, but that's just what he does. Like, if like, people are going to hate it, but if he's shooting 40% from 3-point range and he takes like 15 a game, like, I don't think you have any right to honestly be upset. So I'm totally cool with Simons just doing this for as long as he is here. I don't know why he's here, honestly, but I'm cool with that. And Yabusele had by far his best game of the season tonight. I don't think we're going to continue seeing this where he puts up a double-double and 15 points and 11 rebounds. Like, that's, again, season high in points tonight, season high in rebounds tonight, and it's, like, not even close, honestly. So, yeah, like, I don't think we're going to see that from him any moving forward, but yeah, he had some nice moments. He has some nice instincts. Shocked he played 33 minutes, though. But I guess, hey, we are truly lacking size on this roster, so you might have to play a lot of minutes. And he did well. So, good job by all these guys tonight. I thought Yabusele had some really nice hustle moments, so I do appreciate that from him. But Bulls, unfortunately, though, I guess, or I think, honestly, now the way that we're going to have to start looking at this is, like, this is a good outcome at the end of the day. We don't need this Bulls team to win right now. I think that the draft is like really become extremely important when it comes to this Bulls team suddenly. The lottery is like humongous, and the Bulls just need to lose out right now. So we'll see how far they can get into the or get up the tank standings, I guess. But we gotta, yeah, like, some player development, obviously, like Ivy getting some, good play is like important, but also we need to make sure that I think losing is like a high priority right now, but we will end up seeing here. All right, I saw Charles was here earlier, so we're going to get to chat here. I appreciate y'all tuning into the stream. If you hit the like button on the stream, helps me out a lot. Sincerely do appreciate y'all the support throughout this trade deadline, and honestly throughout the entire season from y'all. It's been really fun. And we get to continue just talking even more trades, because I haven't been able to talk about some of the most recent trades that have happened here. So get ready for some rants, because I'm not very happy about the trades that happened, honestly, today. Or yeah, for the most part. So far this game, I acknowledge no proper training together, etc., but the Bulls have no business winning this with how stagnant the offense looks. So many bad shots going in by luck. So I do think that the one thing that what has been brought into this team, no matter what, Simons is a shooter. Like, Simons is like is like a bona fide shooter. And we saw, like, yeah, 6 of 13 shooting is like, yeah, that's very good. He can just do that no matter like what sort of offense he's in. And so there may have been some luck, maybe, but at the same time, like, yeah, I do think that this is like the one thing that this team can do. Like, Ivy's also shot it pretty well this season. So no matter, like, between just those two guys, like, you've got shooting. And so that's going to be the kind of formula if the Bulls are ever going to get some wins, is that they're going to have to really hit their threes. They're going to be taking, I think, a lot more, especially because Ayo and Kobe were guys that did kind of attack the basket. Now, Kobe obviously shot like 7 threes per game, but like Simons is going to take more than that. So, I expect to see the 3-point volume up, and, you know, we'll probably see some games where they end up winning it because their 3-point shot is just going down. Now, Yabusele shooting 3 for 6 from 3-point range. That was not in my cards tonight. I think he started 3 for 3 from 3. So, yeah, that was definitely not in the cards, in my cards tonight, but, you know, pleasantly surprising. Many trades that could have happened, but my odd first one is because it was basically free and would have been needed. He is a passable asset to use and resell, and people see his use as Jock Landale. Yeah, honestly, they're odd. There's a French star level at worst if it's with Giddey, even older, but just showcase sell next season. He was acquired for cash considerations, right? He was, yeah. But I will say, like, you know, some of these people that go into to like these new spots, like there's like a honeymoon phase that kind of happens. So, like, yeah, I did see Jock Landale had like 17 points in like the first half or something like that. So, I don't think he's going to be doing that from like every single game from here on out, though. So let's temper our expectations just a little bit. But I understand what you're saying. Jang also is my absolute least favorite option to take from OKC if take anyone from them. Upside, sure, but just a bigger swing that is not panning out. And obviously Jang is not here anymore. So yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but he's no longer here. In and out of the stream, I appreciate y'all. Glad with the picks, glad trades happened. Sad they didn't get interesting swings that were clearly available, like Taylor Hendricks or Akin. Better than no trades, which was possible. I do agree that, like, you know, for example, the Bulls held on to Kobe. That would have been, like, horrific. So doing the trades, even though it was going to be an L, I was telling people that the Kobe trade return is going to be an L. It's better than obviously holding on to Kobe and then losing him for nothing in free agency. So, yeah, I think that at the end of the day, like, I don't think a lot of people are happy with the return of what we did get in the trades at the trade deadline, but I am overall, like, just happier that they did do some of these trades. Like, for example, with Kevin Huerter, right? Like, Kevin Huerter had no future with this team, basically. And you got Jaden Ivey in that. Like, that's good. You got something in return for Kevin Huerter when you're just going to inevitably just, like, you know, let him go in free agency and use the cap space, right? So I think that's overall fine. Like, the Vucevic trade, I think that's the best trade that they did, but I'm still confused why Simons is still here, honestly. Yeah, we'll talk about others later here. What's up, y'all? What's going on at the 51? Dude, I actually really like Simons, Ivy, and Yabusele, especially Simons. Really. I hate to say, just like I don't want to like ruin your mood or anything like that, but it is one game. That's all I'm just gonna say. Like, I think that there are definitely a lot of people right now on Twitter talking about like you know, they're like shitting on like even people like me right now about like freaking out about the Yabusele trade and how it was like a bad deal by the Bulls. Now, obviously, I didn't know that Yabusele got rid of his player option for next season when the trade was announced. So, like, yes, when the trade was announced, it was absolutely a horrific deal by the Bulls. Now it's not a horrific deal, but it's like it's still like not really that that beneficial for them, honestly. I did see some stuff from Yabusele that I do think like can help, but at the same time, what is the need of a 30-year-old on this team? I don't really know. Like, I don't need Yabusele on this team because he's basically the oldest guy here. He might play all right, but it's not really going to help, at least in my opinion. Simons is definitely like, I can maybe be convinced that the Bulls should keep him, but it just really makes me question still about, like, what the hell are we going to do with Ivy and Giddey now? Like, like, is Simons just gonna be off the bench, or like, are we gonna start him? Because like, Simons could definitely start, but I don't know what exactly to kind of look at still with him, because we have Jaden Ivey, who I think is supposed to be the guy that we should be prioritizing. Not to mention, Colin Sexton and Rob Dillingham are still traveling their way here. So I'm just like, there's so many guards that the Bulls team still needs to play, and this is with Trey Jones and Josh Giddey out right now. Like, that's the problem. I'm just like very confused. So yeah, I think Ivy, for instance, like tonight, like I don't think it was like the best showing. I think like especially in that fourth quarter was like some bad defensive effort, but yeah, he's intriguing for sure. Like he to me is the most intriguing guy. Simons, yeah, I'm very much aware of what Simons can bring to this team, but I'm like, again, he's 26 and like you just got Ivy and they play the same position basically. So I'm not really sure what this exactly means. Like I don't know if they're like planning on like, if the plan is honestly like to move Giddey down to like the 4 or something, like I would hate it, but maybe that's what we're kind of thinking or something like that. I don't honestly know, but yeah, overall though, I'll just say this: I do like prioritize Ivy right now at the end of the day. Not too shabby from the newcomers. Yeah, it was honestly like I think a really solid game from like all three of them, which is cool to see. Bulls got RB second round picks. Yeah, the Bulls got a total of 9 second round picks in all the trades that they did. So they did load up on that. Now, I will say, like, the 4 that they got back in the Ayo Dosunmu trade was, like, they're not very good. But the ones they got back for the Kobe trade, I think that's fine. Like, I'm fine with it. Obviously, the one they got from Boston and the Simons deal, like, that was a good second round pick. You know, they basically netted one from the Dario Saric trade, which, because again, they sent one back out in the Boston Celtics deal. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, obviously. I think the Bulls, even though that they did get 9 second round picks, I would even argue that they should have arguably got more. But, yeah, that's my opinion at the end of the day. The 3 new players all shot from decent clips. Simons is ridiculous. You better re-sign him. I'm not sold on keeping Simons just yet. It's one game. Like I'm not there yet, and I think all of us should have at least learned some sort of lesson from last season, right? Like it's gonna already be really tough to kind of like get an evaluation on these guys because it's only a limited amount of games, but small sample sizes, like I think out of all of us we should be like understanding like, yeah, small sample sizes are something just to keep in mind, because a lot of people were talking about the 15-5 end to the season. Well, even this entire Bulls front office that people were clamoring about and like they were like the team's biggest supporters of running that core, continuing the core together, they even said that they were done with it. So it's a little too early right now, I think. Simon is gonna have to like, it's either the Bulls are gonna have to like really tell me something that I'm not really seeing with like their vision, or like Simons is gonna have to like really go insane right now. I can be convinced, but there's definitely some areas that I need clarity on first before I think about re-signing Simons right at this moment in time. Think Simons probably gets signed and traded? I think it's a decent possibility, honestly. I understand maybe why they weren't able to trade him after they acquired him, because he is making $27 million. I don't understand about Sexton, though. I don't understand why Sexton's here. I think that $18 million is more tradable. I don't know why Sexton's here right now, honestly. So that's the one I'm probably like the most pissed off about at this point. So wonder if I would get back to his 18-4 self. If Ivy could get back to that level, that would be huge. Because then if Ivy gets back to that level, I think he has another gear in him to like get to like 20 points per game or higher, and especially now with his 3-point shooting being what I'm seeing right now, like his 3-point shot honestly looks really solid. Whether it is him like, you know, pulling up or stepping back, or you know, just like in random kind of moments, like it seems like it gets off like that, which I'm happy about. He looks really comfortable shooting. Like I've been seeing some tape before tonight's game about him. Like, yeah, I'm all for with that. Like if he's able to get back to that 18-4 self, like that's really gonna help. Like it's truly gonna help here. We just don't know if he will. He shot 46 from 3 tonight, Simons. Yeah, like get used to this, like, from Simons. Like, if Simons might actually just, like, average in his 30 games here to end the season, he might actually average, like, 11 threes attempted per game. Like, that's totally fine. Bulls fans are going to hate it. Like, the old school Bulls fans are going to absolutely despise this. But, again, if he's shooting, like, 40%, then, like, I don't understand the issue, honestly. I think it's totally fine. His 3-point shot is like his strength, so like I'm all for it. If he's gonna shoot like 40% from three, like yeah, go ahead and take 12 threes again. That's all good. So nobody's happy about the trades. Yeah, I'm not shocked that no one is like really that happy. I'm pretty pissed off about. So the Dalen Terry trade, when it did happen, like that made me really livid. I understand now that once we got clarity today about the Yabusele contract, I feel a little bit better about it. The Ayo Dosunmu trade is still pissing me off right now. I don't understand that trade at all. The Bulls, in my opinion, could have done so many different options with Ayo, and it would have netted them so much more value, but instead they do this. I don't get it, honestly. I think the Ayo Dosunmu return is garbage. I'm not that big of a fan of Dillingham. Leonard Miller is definitely someone I do like, but he has a ways to go to prove himself still. 4 second rounders, they're all like 2029 or later. Like, I hate that Ayo trade, honestly. I think there's just so many other things that the Bulls could have done with Ayo. And if this was honestly their best like return possible for Ayo, I'm just like, you should have just kept him, because I think that there's a higher chance that you either get an extension agreed upon before the season ends, or you re-sign him this upcoming offseason, and then you would trade him then. And that would net you more value because he wouldn't be on an expiring contract then. But even with that being said, I'm still just confused how the Bulls weren't able to get more for him, because it seemed like there was like a true market. He's had a career year. He's not been as injured as Kobe. He's making less than Kobe this season. And the team that acquires him actually has a higher chance of getting him to agree to an extension before he hits unrestricted free agency. And yet somehow, like in my calculations, like you should be getting a first for him, because there are some teams that are looking at him as like potentially a starter to come on in, or if he's even sixth man, like he still has to play a lot of minutes for them. And the most you got was 4 second rounders. Like, I guess the Bulls just might think that Dillingham is like a first round pick that they're getting back in return, because he was a high lottery pick beforehand. I hate small guards, honestly, so I'm not honestly really for it. The Kobe situation, like, if you got Dillingham for Kobe, like, I could have understood it more. It was like Dillingham, Conley in like a couple of seconds or something. That would have made more sense for Kobe. For Ayo, though, I'm just like, I don't get it. Ayo's market was higher. I mean, very clearly it was higher because they got more back in return for Ayo than Kobe, just in general. But I feel like you could have gotten more. And again, if this was your best offer, I'm just like, there was just so many better ways you can handle this moving forward that it would net you more return if you just held on to him, in my opinion. So I don't know, honestly. I'm very confused with how the Bulls handle that sort of situation. That Mamu guy is pretty good also. Oh my god, bro. Mamu's awesome, man. He is 100% a target for the Bulls this upcoming offseason. The Raptors can't keep him, if you're wondering. I guess technically there is a way, but basically, though, the Raptors don't have his bird rights. Now, if I'm not mistaken, though, I do believe that they might have his early bird rights, so that's a bit unfortunate. No, actually, no. Wait. No, okay, they don't, actually. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So they don't even have his bird rights. Awesome. They have his non-bird rights, so there is it would be an increase, but it's only $2 million. Oh, wow, Spot Track is busy. But the Raptors for next season, like, they have a lot of money already kind of tied up. So, like, Mamu is hitting the market. Like, the Bulls need a center. He is 26, like, he is a little bit on the older side, but like it was brought to my attention from Viper Strike, but also Ricky O'Donnell, about Mamu. Looked at some film, I'm like, yeah, I like what I see. And then he does this tonight where he's like hitting sidestep threes, and it's just like everywhere on the floor, it felt like, and he's like getting in the passing lanes and getting steals and running fast breaks. So I'm just like, oh my god, like, yeah, the Bulls could absolutely use this man. Yeah, I would be all in favor of getting Mamu this upcoming offseason. I think Mamu would be a great target for the Chicago Bulls this offseason. And again, the Raptors can't really afford him, so I think you should definitely be going after him. Like, he's 100% declining that player option. If he accepts that player option, he's just stupid. He's up for a big payday this upcoming offseason, and I'm all for it to go ahead and pay him some money. Why do these guys fit with Giddey? So Simons, he'll help kind of fit next to Giddey in some sense, just because Simons is just he's just a flamethrower from 3-point range. The problem is, though, is where he doesn't fit next to Giddey is that we saw that especially early in the game. Simons just is not a good defender, right? And so, like, that's the problem with Simons next to Giddey. It's just that, like, the lack of defense from both of them is just a problem. And so if Giddey's your main guy, then having a terrible defender next to him is not going to help him, right? So the fit next to him is not the best, specifically defensively. Again, offensively, I think it's honestly a pretty decent fit. I do think that ideally they would have someone that's a little bit more better at, like, kind of handling the ball and kind of creating some of his own shots, but yeah, I mean, again, just having a guy that is just a flat out flamethrower next to Giddey on offense should probably help. Oh, sorry, I just dropped my phone. Now with Ivy, that's the guy that is going to be the more intriguing person for me, because Ivy does kind of need the ball a little bit more. But his 3-point shot will help, again, unfortunately for him and others as well. But, like, his lack of defense doesn't fit next to Giddey very well. I did see some, like, pretty decent, like, defensive instincts, though, from Ivy tonight. But then I also saw some terrible effort in certain moments. So that's not going to be good. But overall, though, I do think that Ivy brings that sort of, like, fast break game that might fit really well next to Giddey, whether it's on ball or even off ball. Like, that's something that maybe Simons can't really bring as much in terms of just, like, agility down the court and being a threat in, like, on ball, off ball situations in transition. But yeah, I don't know. Giddey might honestly just be shut down for the rest of the season, so maybe we don't even get to see it. But yeah, I'm also very intrigued to see how these guys fit next to him. But again, we only have 30 games, right? So it's just like Giddey's got to, like, come back quickly here so we can, like, get, like, a nice kind of evaluation before we head into the offseason and kind of make some decisions here. So yeah, but either way, again, like, I want these guys to get some playing time. But, like, for example, man, I just don't know, like, once Sexton gets here along with Dillingham, like, I don't know how the hell Dillingham's going to get some minutes. Like, I'm actually kind of, like, very fearful for him right now, that when Dillingham gets to the Bulls, like, I'm very fearful that, like, Billy Donovan's just going to, like, bench him. Which is just, like, I don't get it. But, like, it would just be so Billy. Like, Billy hates the younger guys. Dillingham's in his second season. Like, there's, like, basically no reason for Billy, honestly, to, like, be considering playing him. He's a bad defender, doesn't bring anything defensively, young, unproven, and so it's, like, the perfect player for Billy Donovan to just go ahead and bench. And also then he has the excuse that we have just a shit ton of guards already, so, like, where the hell is Dillingham gonna play? But I mean, like, he's the youngest guard. Like, he's the youngest guard out of all of them, so he has to play. I'm just very concerned. I hope it's gonna work out, but God, man, I hope that somehow, some way, they'll convince, like, Diamond, like, don't play Sexton or something like that. I really don't like Dillingham. I kind of like Leonard Miller. He'll get some minutes here. Oh, for sure. I think Miller will definitely get some minutes here. I do like what he brings. Pretty big body, pretty physical. I do like what Leonard Miller kind of brings. It's not like anything spectacular, though, but, like, I do kind of like him. So yeah, I think Miller will have a chance to kind of succeed here in some sort of role at the end of the day. Sexton and Dillingham should be coming off the bench. I mean, I expected that, but my point is this. Like, let's say Josh Giddey and Trey Jones are all available, right? You have Giddey and Ivy. Let's just say those two are your starting backcourt. Then you also have Simons and Sexton Trey Jones, and Dillingham. Like, that's 4 guards that you basically are like, yeah, they're all playable. Maybe Dillingham's the worst out of all of them, but like he's also the youngest and has potentially the best potential out of all of them. Like, those are 4 guys off the bench, and Giddey and Ivy also need their minutes, right? Like, that's the problem. That's the problem I'm looking at right now. It's just like, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. Now, if Giddey and Trey Jones are done for the year, that will help fix things. But if they're available, which I expect Trey Jones to be back here, like be available soon here. We'll see about Giddey. He might actually just be done for the year. But I expect Trey Jones to be available to play soon. Like if he comes back, like again, it's just another guy. Like you have to play him. It'd be disservice not to. Like, he's been like your best defender all season. Like, I'm like, man, I don't know what the Bulls are gonna do. So I mean, I'm gonna assume that everyone's gonna be here on Saturday. Maybe not everyone will be here, but I think everyone should be here on Saturday. So maybe we'll get kind of, again, we'll see about Giddey and Trey Jones' health status, but we'll get kind of a look, honestly. I didn't watch the AK press conference, but I heard it was dumb. Oh, bro. So I was in the car, so like I didn't like fully like grasp everything that he did say because I was driving. But yeah, like AK, like what he said at the press conference was like actually like so atrocious that I was just like, what? He didn't want to call it a rebuild. Like Will Gottlieb like straight up asked him, I think, like, is this a rebuild? And it's just like, no. Like I try to avoid using that term, which is just like, okay, you freaking idiot, man. He did say, like, yeah, like, the goal is a championship. The play-in tournament is not enough. Like, at least there's that he did say, but it's like, you basically said, though, that the play-in tournament was enough, like, the last 3 seasons. So I don't exactly know what changed, but something kind of changed in AKO. It's like, yeah, the play-in tournament is not enough. So even all the people that are, like, anti-tank and say, like, no, this team needs to win and getting into the play-in tournament is still good enough, well, not even your main guy that is supporting that sort of idea anymore. So that's very funny to me. When it came to like he was explaining like why they decided to move on, he was just like, well, it was timing and like the market value for these guys. We thought it was a good market, and we thought that because of the timing of all their expirings, that it was the proper time to go ahead and try to get some value for these guys before they all hit free agency, and we thought we got some really good value in return. And it's just like, okay, you didn't. Like, you messed up a ton of these guys, like specifically Io and Kobe's value. You could have done this last season, and you would have been in a much better spot today. You would have gotten better value than what we saw you get back for these guys at the trade deadline. They did ask him, like, do you regret not trading Kobe and Io last season? And he's like, no, the timing was right though for this season though. Like, he was just like kind of avoiding, like, he said no, but like not really explaining really in depth why. Trying to remember anything else that was oh yeah, second round picks. Like, someone asked him, like, hey, you know, like, in previous seasons it seems like you don't really value second round picks, but now all of a sudden, like, you're collecting, you just collected 9 at this deadline. Like, what's the change? And he's just like, well, second round picks are viewed as a currency in this league, and we thought that we were able to accumulate a lot of them, and we can't wait to use them for the draft this upcoming season. It's just like, what's the logic? Like, I don't understand why it seemed like they just didn't value second round picks for like many years, and then all of a sudden now they're just like, they're accumulating every single one possible. I was so just like, okay, like, and that now you like, they didn't even get like a full answer from him during his press conference. I was just like, what? And then last but not least, like, he was basically like claiming, like, well, player development is key, and we look forward to seeing our core guys of Giddey, Buzelis, Ice, Jalen Smith, all working together, and obviously bringing in new guys like Ivy and Simons, and then, you know, others as well, like Yabusele. Like, it was just like, he basically kind of went ahead and claimed that, yeah, we have a core, when it's just like, no, we don't. Yeah, Giddey and Buzelis are like nice pieces, but like, if those are your best 2 players of your core, like, you're going nowhere, man. Like, right now, the talent level on this team fell after this deadline, right? And the unfortunate reality is that you didn't get any first-round picks at this deadline. So now the only one argument that I will say is that like I do think like Ivy does have like his talent level, I guess, is the one that could sway that, and like he might end up being the best player out of all the players that were traded either away from the Bulls or to the Bulls today. Okay, like Ivy might be like the one guy, but it's a lot on his shoulders. And guess what? You have to go ahead and make a decision this upcoming free agency about what are you going to do with him. Like a big humongous cap hold of $30.3 million. Like he's going to be a restricted free agent, and as long as he just kind of stays out there restricted free agency and doesn't sign a contract, like this cap hold is just eating $30 million of your cap space. So I'm like, there's definitely some concerns I have as like, okay, what exactly are we planning? But you know, at the very least, like you did get some returns for guys that were expiring that didn't have much of a future here. I will say though, AK, like he didn't sound too inspired about his own moves that he did. Like he didn't sound excited at all. So it's just like, well, why should I feel good? You know, why should I feel excited about these moves at all, or like should believe in these moves? Like he himself was just like, he sounded so depressed. Now I understand that like trade deadline week is like no one gets sleep. Like none of the front offices get sleep during trade deadline week. But like I was just like, bro, you sound like you want to absolutely just not be here right now, and you're like just trying to like explain in like the most monotone voice about why this was all good decisions, but not fully explain why you did these decisions or anything like that. He was just like very vague and didn't really sound too excited at the end of the day. So I don't know, man. The whole asset management from this front office is some of the worst I've ever seen. And for all the people, again, like, yes, ownership absolutely sucks. And if Michael Reinsdorf was actually like a smart human being, he would go ahead and fire this front office today. But this front office, as terrible as ownership is, like this front office has been given plenty of time and resources to go and actually build a quality team, and they haven't done that. Like that's the issue. Like it's not like, oh, the front office is like is like tied down, like their hands are strapped because of the freaking ownership. I mean, no, they have plenty of like free will to go ahead and just go and make some decisions to actually try to make a good team, and they haven't done that. So this front office is garbage. Whether or not it's like ownership is terrible, like yeah, ownership is garbage. But let's say, for example, ownership was good. Now, obviously, this front office wouldn't be here right now. But let's just say ownership was good and this front office sucks. Well, guess what? This front office would still create a terrible team. Like I would argue that like even if AK was allowed to go into the tax, like this team would still suck. Like that's the thing. So I just like. There's just no hope, man, I feel like right now. Besides just this upcoming draft lottery, I'm just hoping that the Bulls like tank out the rest of the year and increase their odds and hope you hit on somebody. But it's just you don't have an abundance of extra first round picks that you can just go ahead and use. So it's just going to be so hard for me to believe that you're going to hit on that right now. You know, taking like a flyer, I guess maybe not really a flyer, but like taking like a chance on Ivy is a good decision. So is like taking a chance on Rob Dillingham in a sense. But some of these other moves, man, I'm just as confused as anybody. I don't know why some of these guys are still here. And it felt like honestly what AK was saying was like he even addressed it, like, yeah, the roster construction is kind of poor, like in his press conference. I'm like, okay, well, why did you do with this then? Like, why are there so many guards here? I don't get it. But they also said they would have to be blown away. I don't understand how that was blown away. Yeah, I don't understand that at all either. Like, again, if you're going to sell high, like, you need to actually sell him for high value, right? And I still think you could have gotten more for Ayo than what you got today. Because, like, there was all this talk about how Ayo has, like, many teams interested, and that would drive up his value. But again, if this was your best offer, which I'm honestly questioning if it was, because, like, maybe the Bulls actually just, like, really like Dillingham, and so, like, they were offered a first by someone else, but just decided not to take it. And they just like Dillingham a lot. But if, let's say this was your best offer, then you just keep him. Like you just keep him at the end of the day, because then you're gonna hope to try to re-sign him, and then you can trade him later and get better value than what you got today. So At least we are bad now. Only thing to say now, I guess. It is interesting because part of me thinks that so before the Ayo Dosunmu trade, I don't know what you guys thought, but like I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, the Bulls are full out tanking." Like when they started to see like the Vucevic trade, for example, like they're like, "Oh, the Bulls are tanking." Well, it wasn't until the Ayo Dosunmu trade for me that I was like, okay, like now I actually think that this Bulls team is like not really prioritizing winning or trying to make the playoffs. Like before that trade, I was still looking at it, and like specifically with like the Gershon Yabusele trade, I was just like, no, like you traded Kobe for, it was like Ousmane Dieng, but you also got Colin Sexton back, right? Like Sexton is going to help you win this season, right? Now I understand that Dieng got, sent for Nick Richards, but that just helps my point, right? Like if this team was like actively like tanking, if this team was like actually truly tanking, then you don't trade Ousmane Dieng for Nick Richards. Nick Richards is 28 years old and bad, and Ousmane Dieng is 22 years old and bad, but like at least he's like has a chance to like kind of pop or something, right? If this team was truly tanking, then like you take the younger player, but instead they traded him for the older player. I was just like, what? I don't understand this. The Dalen Terry for Gershon Yabusele trade, like it sounded like, especially when the Bulls, when I thought Yabusele saw it as player option, it basically thought like, or at least in my head, I was thinking that the Bulls like, oh yeah, he helps us win now. Like, why would this team want a 30-year-old to come onto this roster right now? He sucked all season long, which is the reason why I still think he should have gotten a second-round pick in this deal. But either way, like you're going and getting him, and you're trading a guy that is expiring for him. Like, the only reason why I can think of why you would get him is just try to help you win today. And, Yabusele helped, put a good effort in today, which is just like, I don't, again, in my eyes at least, it's like, oh, you're not tanking then. Like, you're still trying to win. And again, the front office, AK himself, just said that he does not want to say this is a rebuild, this is a stage. So, like, I think if this team was truly tanking, I think Trey Jones and Jalen Smith are off the roster at this point. I think that you would still see Ousmane Dieng here today, and not have him traded for Nick Richards. And I don't think they would prioritize Gershon Yabusele. So the Ayo trade does make me like think like, oh, maybe it is like a flat out tank. But some of these other moves tell me that like no, like they're all in on still trying to make the play-in tournament this season for some reason, which is gonna just absolutely make me lose my mind. Now the Hornets are destroying the Houston Rockets as we currently speak, where I've already won. So I fully expect the Hornets to be basically tied with us at this point after the stream is over. But yeah, man, I just, in my eyes, man, I'm just looking at this as like, I really hope that we are tanking and they're just not saying it and they're just trying to avoid fines from the league or something. But like Simons is a win now player. Colin Sexton's a win now player. Nick Richards is a win now player. Like, so is Yabusele. Like between all those guys, the youngest player out of all those guys I just listed is Anthony Simons at 26 years old. Like, that's the part that I'm like still very concerned about, is like, no, they're still trying. Like, they're still trying to actively like be like kind of good. And I don't know why. Like, I'm lost. I'm gonna be really pissed off if that is the case. So I hope that we're gonna be okay and just like, yep, just lose for the rest of the season. I hope that's what Noel said. Like, yeah, we're just garbage. It's okay. Like, if the Bulls go an 0-30 run or something like that in terms of the record, like, perfect, like, awesome. That's a good thing. But I just won't be shocked if somehow the Bulls are above the Atlanta Hawks to make the play-in tournament as a 10 seed this upcoming April. So I'm hoping that we don't do that, but there's a world. I really do see it. I don't think this is a tank. I see a win because we did not have a few players and we hung in there. I mean, I don't really look at the games like that anymore right now. Like, I look at it as, like, how did Jaden Ivey play? How did Montes Buzelis play? And then soon as Rob Dillingham gets here, like, how did he play as well? Those are going to be the guys I'm, like, heavily focused on for, like, the rest of the season. And, like, yeah, I'm going to be evaluating, obviously, like, Sexton, Simons, and others. But to me, the wins are going to just be, like, if, like, you know, Buzelis has a great game, which he had a pretty decent game tonight. If Ivy pops or something and has, like, an explosive game, it's like, okay, that's a good sign, right? That's a win for us. Like, whether it's an actual W or L in the win-loss column or not, like, it's, to me, those are now the wins for the rest of the season. It's not going to be about, oh, did we actually go and win these games? The Raptors, I will say, though, the Raptors played, like, there were moments tonight that they were not playing well. It was just like, there was like an offensive possession, basically, where it was like, oh yeah, everyone just kind of stood around, and someone just has the ball in their hands and just kind of stand at the top of the key, and like they'll like somehow find a way to like make a shot out of it. Yeah, there were definitely moments tonight where I felt like the Raptors really weren't playing too good, and we're just kind of taking this game lightly. They've lost 3 of their last 4. Like, it's, you know, they're not exactly going through the best stretch right now, but I'm just gonna think that how much disarray there is with this current roster, and there's so many guys coming in and like that are coming in now that are new, right? That the defense is gonna really go and like be terrible for like the last like 30 games, and that's gonna help us really lose some games. So, I personally don't think that we're trying to, like, I'm gonna hope that we're not trying to win, but we will see. If Giddey does sit out the rest of the season, that will tell me that, okay, yeah, we are actually like trying to lose. So that will be kind of my big indicator. Or if Giddey's out for like a long time, right? So what's going on, Mr. Wind? What's going on, Turkey? I watched AK Presser earlier too. I've been so done with this guy for a while now. Oh, we're all so done, man. There should be a rule in the NBA that if a fan base is so fed up with the current general manager or like top decision maker, like in AK's case, he's the vice president of basketball operations. Like, if a fan base is so pissed off at their GM or something like that, that we should be allowed to remove them, and we should be allowed to go and pick our new general manager or something. Like, I don't know. It's just I cannot stand the fact that AK gets to just get paid millions just to do nothing. Like, it's so bad. Yeah, I agree. It's just like it. Like it's just like not it. They haven't done crap and aren't making the right moves at all. So, in my opinion, let me go through like my kind of trades, like, and how I view it. Like, the Herder for Ivy trade, that was a good decision. Like, I'm fine with that. It's not a spectacular decision. But it's a good decision. The overall the Vucevic for, you know, Simons trade, where you got that, you know, like, it's gonna be like a top 5 second round pick, like, yeah, like that's also a good decision. Now, what's a bad decision in my opinion is keeping Simons. I don't understand why he's still here. Now, if you couldn't have traded him, that's one thing, but if you could have traded him, then I don't know why he's here right now. Trading Kobe White and what you got in the initial return, I'm like, that's a fine decision. That's fine. Like, again, you weren't going to get anything good in return for Kobe, because, again, that time passed last year's trade deadline, okay? If you're going to want to get something good for him in return, it was last season. Then, even in the offseason, you would have gotten more than what you got yesterday, but you didn't do that. So it was just going to be an L anyway, but you had to go ahead and just accept what you could have gotten. And, yeah, you did that. That was a good decision. It's an L trade, but it was a good decision. But then trading Ousmane Dieng for Nick Richards is a horrible decision. That doesn't make any freaking sense to me. Dalen Terry for Gershon Yabusele, it looks a lot better than it did last night. Last night, I was freaking out. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Because Yabusele, at the time, he had a player option for next season. So the Bulls traded and expiring for a guy that was 100% going to pick up his player option next season. We didn't find out today that he amended his contract, so he does not have a player option for next season. So it does make it look better today, but you still could have leveraged that sort of situation to get a second round pick still, because Yabusele, heading into today, he was shooting under 40% from the field, under 30% from 3-point range, averaging 2-point-something points per game. Like, he was having a horrible year. And so you should even know that, like, oh, you knew about the contract situation and he doesn't have a player option anymore. You still could have leveraged the fact that he was playing like absolute crap and still leveraged a second round pick out of that deal. You didn't, though. Now I understand, like, yeah, Yabusele played well tonight, but like, let's say he still goes and plays well for the Bulls. Like, okay, but you still could have leveraged the fact that he was playing like garbage on the Knicks into making the Knicks get a second round pick, because the Knicks just wanted to use Dalen Terry as a trade asset to go and get Jose Alvarado. Okay, like if the Knicks could have traded Gershon Yabusele and 2 second round picks for Jose Alvarado, they would have already done that. They wouldn't have traded Yabusele to us. But instead, we did the Knicks a favor by sending out Dalen Terry to them, who then they flipped for Jose Alvarado. Because the Pelicans wanted someone younger, because obviously, what is a 30-year-old going to do for them, right? Like, they don't need anyone else to come in at like a vet age to come and help their roster. Like, they're just in full-out rebuild mode. So, like, obviously, they're going to choose Terry over Gershon Yabusele, which makes a lot of sense. So I just, like, that trade to me still is just like an absolute L, even though it's like not, like, I understand it's not like catastrophic or anything, but it's just like, I feel like the Bulls hurt themselves for like legitimately no reason. I would have rather just kept Terry, just made sure we had the cap space next offseason. Now obviously, yeah, now you still have the cap space next offseason, but you still could have kind of pick out of it. I don't get it, honestly. That trade doesn't make any sense. The Io trade is an absolute L in my opinion. I don't like Dillingham, but also just I feel like you could have just kept Io and traded him later and got better value for him. So there's that. Yeah, and then the Jang for Richards trade is just absolute garbage. Like, I cannot believe we did that trade. I was just like, what the fuck? That is an awful trade for us. So, oh man, that Nick Richards trade pissed me off. Yep, I'm with you. Hornets beat the Rockets today. Yeah, I did see that, man. Man, the Hornets are truly going to be on a roll. It's actually, we got word today that Kobe's not going to play with the Hornets until after the All-Star break, so he's going to get some time to rest up his calves. So that's good for him. What's going on, Patrick? Yeah. Things have happened, Patrick. Hope you've been keeping up to date. 11 seed, baby. Pat is tank commander. Pat is honestly the true tank commander. Pat was awful today. Yeah, so I guess, honestly, if there's one thing Pat is bringing us, is that it's bringing us better draft lottery odds. That's the one thing. Also, Giddey shouldn't be risked given he's perhaps the most valuable asset we have. Yeah, I mean, if Giddey doesn't play the rest of the season, like, I understand it, and I'm like, okay with it. So, I still do want to see him and Ivy play together, but yeah, this whole hamstring issue, like, it seems to be a lot worse than they're actually saying. So, yeah, if he just sits the rest of the season and make sure he doesn't, like, tear his hamstring, like, that's a good decision at the end of the day. This is the year to tank to top up the draft is stacked. So I agree. I think this year is the year to tank. The problem is the Bulls didn't tank the first half of the season, or, you know, first 50 games of the season, basically. I was all for it. Like, you should have, especially after the Bulls went on that horrible run after their good start. Like, they went on that horrible run. I'm like, okay, well, you should tank now because you're not going anywhere. You're still garbage. Like, you had a horrible overall November. Like, go tank. And they didn't do that, obviously. And Vucevic helped them win like 4 or 5 games this year. You know, like the Kevin Huerter game winner, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, this was the year to tank. It would be a lot better right now for the Bulls if they just had like 5 less wins on their record. Like, it would significantly help them. But they don't. That's not the reality. That's the problem. So, yeah, I'm pretty annoyed by it. But hey, at least if the Bulls do just like full out bottom out, like, at least they're doing it in this draft, right? Next season, like, it doesn't seem like tanking is like a good decision just because the draft is just not very good. Now, granted, again, every single draft has value. I am very much aware of that, but yeah, I don't think tanking next season is going to be the best overall decision just with what we're seeing with the draft. Danny Perry is useless. In a useless stretch would piss me off so much. Oh, it'll be devastating. Yeah. If Giddey gets injured just because we brought him back just to play some like meaningless games, it's just like, oh god. Classic Bulls, man. So yeah. Learning nothing for 3 straight years. Yep. No, calls for improper removal of GM because anybody can start false accusations, get them removed. Yeah, but like, let's say it's not false accusations. Let's just say that they're just shit at their job. Like, let's just say, for example, that AK is just garbage at his job. Like, we're not doing false accusations. We're just saying that he's just garbage. Like, well, I think we should just be allowed to remove this man, honestly. Also, how do you think they would try to improve this team? Free agency or draft? I don't trust him on a draft pick in the 18 to 14 range. We need a top 5 pick to avoid them screwing them up. So basically, it's down to if they tank the rest of the season, it increases their odds of jumping into the top 4, right? And so if the Bulls can jump into the top 4 in this draft, that like saves their franchise basically. So there's that. That's kind of like the one. That's the one pathway. It seemed like, for what AK did say, is that it's going to be free agency. Now, I've talked about Peyton Watson a lot on this channel, and I do think that he's be a guy that the Bulls should probably be targeting. Again, if they're not looking to tank, like if they're looking to try to be competitive, like, yeah, you go and get Peyton Watson. So I do think, I think that they're planning on free agency being the way that they improve. The problem is, though, is that the unrestricted free agency class this upcoming offseason is pretty garbage. Now, I do think what the Bulls are going to be doing, because they wanted Tari Eason, which we heard, right? We got the rumor that they were trying to get Tari Eason from the Rockets in the Kobe White deal. And so Tari Eason's also a player that is going to be restricted free agent, and I don't know if the Rockets can pay him. That they might go after him as well, which is fine. I do think that it is fine, but I think that's the best you're gonna do. Eason has upside, obviously, so if I'm gonna sign anybody, Eason's not a bad decision. It's just that it's not gonna significantly improve your team to the point where you're we're a bona fide playoff team now. They're gonna have to do a lot more with trades to get to that point. The money is gonna help them if they decide to go ahead and target some players like a Watson or a Tari Eason. That will help them. It would definitely improve them, but they need to do a lot more to exponentially improve here, so that, because for example, let's just say for the Bulls, they let Simons go, they let Sexton go, whatever, and they bring back Ivy for how much money, and then they go and sign Peyton Watson, but we haven't really figured out our center situation, for example. You're basically just going back to play-in territory, right? Let's say they actually do get worse here. You sign Peyton Watson. Now, he helps, obviously, from instead of you being one of the worst teams, he's gonna bring you up to play-in territory, potentially. But it's just okay, that's it though. You have to do a lot more than just getting Peyton Watson in this upcoming free agency class, especially now with all the moves that you made. So, yeah, I'm concerned. That's all. I'll put it just that way. We're not gonna do anything in the offseason besides sign one guy and draft. I'm gonna hope not. They have a shit ton of cap space, man, even with the Ivy deal. So if they only sign one guy, then we're gonna have some talks. I think we're talking too soon. Let's say every move you wanted was done and we still failed, then what? Let's say we got lottery odds and stillers, and then I say trust the process. So here's the issue though, Zayover. The Bulls that basically did what you wanted, right, and got nowhere in the last 3 seasons. So in your sort of instance, you're saying that if the Bulls did everything I wanted, right, that it still failed, then what are we talking about, right? Well, the Bulls did everything you wanted. They stayed competitive. They didn't trade their guys for assets, right? They just stayed competitive for the last 3 fucking seasons and got nowhere. And they themselves said at this deadline, yeah, it's not enough. So, just to throw that back at you, I have a reason why for what I think the Bulls should be doing, and I think the results from the last 3 seasons is a big, clear indicator of why I think the Bulls should be doing what I think they should be doing. And instead of what you people think that they should be doing, which is that you should be trying to stay competitive and try to stick around 500 every single season and try to work out, try to find a way just to win some games. You're not going to ever be a contender, right? But just try to win some games, and hopefully it eventually just kind of works out for you. What's the path forward with that? There's nothing. Okay, today is better for the Bulls because they actually went ahead and traded some of their expiring contracts that were potentially just going to leave in free agency, and they got stuff in return, at least. That's at least the good news of today. So they have extra assets to kind of work with now, and they still kept their cap space. So to me, it's better right now than what the Bulls were if they just kind of held on and did nothing. Because the Bulls could have just done nothing at this deadline and still just chased the play-in tournament, and the non-tankees would be like, yeah, this is great. We did a great job this season. But meanwhile, I'm looking at it as just like, wow, we are still going nowhere. So it comes down to perspective of things, but I think the argument of me asking for something completely different than what the team has done the past 4 seasons or 3 seasons is pretty valid, because when I've looked at this team the past 3 fucking seasons, they've done nothing. They just continue just to kind of like do nothing and stick around the play-in tournament, and it's gotten them nowhere. They've gone nowhere. So I think I'm pretty valid in being like, I want change. I want us to go ahead and try to go ahead and increase our lottery odds and trade guys for assets, because I don't need them around right now on this team. We need to go and just like actually fully rebuild. So I don't know. That's just my opinion at the end of the day. Does Team Mario has visions of Cancun and golf in their heads? I wouldn't say everybody on this team does, but I think that some of them actually are, specifically like Jay and Ivy, for example. Like, I think he's using this as like a proving ground, right? Like, because he's been off the bench for basically the entire season. Like, a lot of people are probably looking at him now as like, yeah, like your all-star potential's gone. Like, I don't think he's really looking at this as like Cancun, right? But I will admit that like I do think that some of them are probably looking at it as just Cancun. This draft is guard heavy too. Hey, perfect. They'll fit right in. We disagree with the plan on what to do once they came in is gone, but no one in good faith can defend this front office. No, like there's nothing in my opinion that you can do right now that is a valid argument to defend this front office at this point. There's just none. Sorry. I wanted Giannis or Cat or Zion over a tank, but AKM whiffs on all 3, so here we are. Yep. And you know the reason why he whiffed on all those guys? Well, we don't have the assets for it. Like, that's the biggest problem. I think people are like just don't like are not like, oh hey, yeah, it'll be great if the Bulls can maybe trade for some of these guys, but we don't have any assets. Like it's not gonna work out. And we got some more, we still need some more, but it's like, okay, well, at least we traded, we got some assets in these trades today, or this deadline I should say. Also, I don't understand how so many Bulls fans like Jang. Oh, sorry, I got my mic. Like the Jang for Richards trade. Yeah, those Bulls fans are the ones that, again, who do not want to like lose the rest of the season, and were like begging for a center that was above like 6'8" or whatever. And they're like, oh, great, awesome. We don't have to watch a guy try to develop or anything, or we actually go and get a center that can actually, stand like at 6'10" or higher or something like that. Whatever the fuck it was, but that's their argument, and I'm just like, why does that matter to you? Like, Nick Richards sucks. Like, he's not a good player, but yet so many Bulls fans are like totally fine with getting him just because we have such a small team that they're just looking at this current roster and just like, well, where's our center? Like, we need a center. We got Nick Richards. Awesome. That's a center that's above 6'8". Great. Awesome. We're much better now today. That's a good trade by AK. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, your logic, if you got to that conclusion from that logic, is just like, I don't know how the hell the Reinsdorfs and the Bulls organization has absolutely just tricked you and brainwashed you into thinking this way, but you're the people that they go after to sell tickets to. Like, this team has no business to sell tickets to anybody right now, and yet there are people that are absolutely in favor of that trade and are like, yeah, I'm gonna go and be like so excited to watch Nick Richards in his Bulls debut. Like, I'm like, okay, great. Meanwhile, by the way, he's not part of this team's future. Like, he's not even under contract next season. So even if he does play well, like, I mean, he's not even under contract next season. So I don't know what the hell they're looking at, honestly. I think they have these seconds on some of the players they got to make a big trade this offseason for it to be successful. Oh, I mean, yeah, I think that's like almost necessary for it to be successful. But Again, I don't think they're going to do that, though. I really don't. I think they're going to trade some seconds to go and get some, like, mid players and be like, oh, see, we upgraded the roster, guys. You know, they're going to trade some seconds that they acquired to go and acquire their, like, 8th guard and be like, oh, see, look at that. Like, we upgraded the roster, guys. We got a new guard in here that is, like, actually, like, a decent defender or something. Like imagine, like, for example, like, it would be so Bulls if they traded, like, 3 second-round picks to the Miami Heat for Davion Mitchell, for example, right? Like, none of our guards really play defense. Oh, well, here's Davion Mitchell. He's, like, a very good defender. See? We upgraded our roster, guys. Like, it doesn't help us, like, well, I mean, it'll help you maybe a little bit in terms of how the team is currently constructed, but, like, that's not going to move the needle. Like, are you serious? that honestly would have been it. I would have also kept Jang over Richards. Yeah, I mean, any logical person would have kept Jang over Richards, but yeah, our front office doesn't have a brain. So, like, like the Kobe White deal, I was actually just like, oh, you know what? You got Jang and you got 3 second-round picks out of it. I'm shocked you even got that much for Kobe White. I thought his market was honestly, like, horrible. But then they went ahead and traded Jang for Nick Richards. I was just like, okay, well, there goes that. Like, at least you got 3 second-round picks out of the deal, I guess. But one of Richards was a diamond move. It might have been. I won't lie. Like, if let's say, for example, this front office is, like, fully, like, hell-bent on that, like, oh, we're going to be bad, like, next couple seasons, like, you know, the whole Shire kind of rumors, then it kind of makes sense about the Shire rumors, right? Because what would happen then is Donovan goes to the front office, and then the Bulls will bring in Shire. But again, until I actually see this Bulls team like intentionally tank, like I'm not gonna believe it, unfortunately. But I do actually see a world now where it's like, no, the Shire rumors actually kind of do make some sense. If this Bulls team is, like, truly committed to, like, being terrible, like, for the next, like, couple of years. And they move Billy Donovan to the front office and they just go and hire Shire or something like that. Or they might honestly hire Billy Donovan III and just, you know, promote him into being the head coach. Which would be absolutely disgusting, so... What are these rumors you're talking about? We're talking about Duke's head coach. Someone else probably knows more of what exactly it is, but the rumor is that the Bulls have interest in it's John Shire, right? And he's Duke's current head coach. I don't go on Reddit very often, but like here's basically what we're looking at. Like this sort of stuff is suddenly just kind of came out of nowhere. It's just like, oh well, like I don't know who the hell this like person is. I'm not sure if they have any sort of actual like sources, but like this was like all of a sudden like brought up, and it's because like he's a Chicago native and such. So it's just like, okay, well I said it on last stream that I was just like, I don't think there's any sort of like backing of this at all, because I'd be shocked as hell if Billy Donovan all of a sudden just is like, yeah, I'm not coaching anymore. Because the only way the Bulls are hiring a new head coach is if Billy Donovan says like, yeah, you know what, I'm not coaching anymore, I want to go into the front office. Like, that's the only way that there's gonna be a change in head coach. The Bulls are not gonna fire Billy Donovan. They love Billy Donovan way too much. So again, like I said, the only way that this is gonna change, there's gonna be a head coaching change, is if Billy Donovan says, I want to go to the front office, I don't want to coach anymore. And so all of a sudden now, like this rumor, like I was looking at it now and I'm like, okay, well, the Bulls actually, like, once that Iowa move did happen, I was like, okay, maybe the Bulls are actually truly committed to the tank. And we've talked about how Billy Donovan doesn't want to tank as the head coach, right? We've talked about how Billy Donovan doesn't want to actually be a just a coach, because like he left Oklahoma City Thunder when they went through the rebuild, right? So if the Bulls are like actually committed to the rebuild or like actually tanking, like maybe Billy's just like, yeah, I don't want to actually coach, which is then why I'm like, oh, maybe this actually does have some backing now, because if Billy Donovan's like, yeah, I don't want to coach this, I'll just go to the front office to just be with AK Mark Eversley in the front office now as an advisor or some sort of consultant or whatever the fuck he's gonna be. And so then the Bulls go and get Shire and have him just kind of lead this next rebuild. So I don't know. It's just kind of the way I look at it. Like, again, like I said, the only way there's going to be a head coaching change is if Billy Donovan says that he doesn't want to coach anymore. If the Bulls actually did indicate to Donovan, like, hey, we really are going to actually like go through a full-out rebuild here, and we're going to have to have some games where we decide to play some of the younger players over some of the vets to see what we get and try to evaluate them. And we're just going to tell you that right now that's what we want. And Billy's like, oh yeah, you know what? I don't want to coach like that. So I'll just go and take my spot in the front office now. Then it would make sense why the Bulls would have interest in Shire. As to just come on in as like the next head coach then to lead the rebuild. But again, that's the only way this is happening. For all the people that think like, oh, the Bulls are going to fire Billy Donovan, it's like, no, that's not going to happen. Billy Donovan just recently signed an extension with the Bulls. They're not firing him. There might be like a clause or something in the contract that would put Billy Donovan to the allowed to go to the front office, get a pay raise or something, but I don't know. But yeah, you're not going to see this team fire Billy Donovan for John Shire. I'm just pointing that out at the end of the day. But yeah, that's basically what I just wanted to say. Billy will be like another advisor like Paxson still is. Yeah, so he just basically be an advisor to the front office, which is just like, okay. I'm sure Paxton's is laughing his ass off at Akemi right now. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Paxton's job is also just to keep the Reinsdorfs happy and just collect that paycheck. And so as long as the Reinsdorfs are happy and are satisfied, like, I feel like Paxton is just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just chilling. I get paid a lot of money just to do nothing, basically. I think he himself is just like, he just doesn't really care too much anymore about the actual state of the team. Because he found out like he doesn't need to do that anymore when he's in the front office. So, sorry, one second. I'm gonna reset my mic because I'm seeing it's picking up background noise. One sec. Check. Huh. That's a lot of background noise, and I don't know why you're hearing it. I'm gonna have to raise the gate or the noise gate. Okay. I think that should have fixed it. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. That was just pissing me off. Alright, so yeah. We'll see if this actually has some like backing to it. So obviously Billy Donovan would be finishing this season as the head coach. However, I do think that like if the Bulls are let's just say for example the Bulls go on like a serious losing streak to end this season, then like I am going to be paying close enough attention to this, and then I'm really actually going to start looking into like Shire's like time at Duke, like which obviously he's been fantastic at Duke. It's just that it's Duke, right? Like Coach K was there for such a long time. Like, would this actually be a legit thing? Who knows? I mean, if he's from Chicago, like he might actually consider this. Like, it's a big thing to coach an NBA team these days. So, there is a potential possibility. Will it happen? I'm not sure, but I'll be keeping an eye on it for sure at the end of the day. So, that's that. Wonder if it will be another Fred Hoiberg. That is obviously the fear, right? So that's the reason why I would have to like do my like full out research on Shire and look into how he coaches and his style, and then look at his offensive schemes and defensive schemes and everything, and just kind of like determine like. Sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah. I'll have to like really do some research into Shire and figure out how he does his offense and what exactly he's looking for. And yeah, like Hoiberg is like interesting. Like Hoiberg ball is not like bad, but the way Hoiberg didn't handle the locker room was like a serious issue at the end of the day. So yeah, hiring a college head coach is there's always the PTSD at the end of the day. Are we okay? Not really, but yeah, I'm fighting through things. Sorry, I spoke and then I like choked on saliva and then just suddenly my body reacted. So sorry about that, y'all. All right, let's talk about a couple other things here. So I'm gonna actually do this with you guys live because I have not actually. It's been a busy day for me, so I've not actually taken the time to go ahead and update the salary cap sheet for the Bulls here. So let's go ahead and do this on stream together, as we can then go ahead and kind of get like a good grasp of like what the Bulls are gonna be working with for the next season here. So we're going to go ahead and add in some of the players that we did just acquire. So unfortunately I have to say goodbye to Ayo Dosunmu from this data sheet. And man, bro, I'm just like, you know, I already talked about how I thought it was a terrible trade. I thought that the Bulls could have gotten significantly better value for him, but just in general, man, just seeing Ayo go is just, it hurts me so much. I think Ayo was like, I don't know, I don't always like saying this, but like Ayo just, to me, just like he just represented Chicago so awesome, like just in a nutshell. Like he's a guy that you just could tell that he's like always like trying to work harder and trying to get better, and like he isn't settling at any point. Like he could have just like, you know, came in his rookie season, had a lot of success like for a rookie, and be like, yeah, I'm good, but you could just tell like he is truly trying to get better. But he also had that Chicago game in him where like you have that ability even as a guard to finish really well around the rim. Like he like, it's so Chicago, just the way that, and it's probably because of just how Derrick Rose would always play, but like you just see like in like certain guys that are from Chicago that just like have like this sort of knack to like to finish around the rim and you know, take some of these risks, like even if you're small, just like find a way to finish some of these shots near the rim. It's just like, it's just so Chicago in my eyes, and how that sort of play style is. And he just represented that just so well. So it hurts me just to see him be traded. I am absolutely just devastated. I'm gonna have to see him in another uniform, and it's just gonna it's really just gonna hurt me, man, when I'm gonna see him in a Timberwolves uniform. So the Bulls don't play the Timberwolves again, so I guess we won't get to see like a return or anything like that this season. But I wish nothing but the best for him. I'm happy he's going to an actual legit organization and not, you know, stuck here, I guess. But I think it would have been awesome if he could have stayed longer. And again, if the Bulls are going to trade him, I feel like you could have done that next season, and on a new contract, you got a better overall return. But we're going to go ahead and add in Rob Dillingham to the cap sheet here and add in his contract. So first season is 6,576,120. So the Bulls, I think honestly they were able to in general save some money after some of the deals, but we will see. And then Dillingham is gonna be he is gonna eat into some of the cap space this upcoming offseason, but that's, again, that's honestly fine. 7 6 3 2 1 6. Okay. Where's the red? Okay, all right. Oh, whoops. My bad. All right, so Dillingham is officially added in. I'll fix the formatting in just a second here. And then this is okay. This is guaranteed. So option already picked up for next season. Ousmane Dieng is no longer here. I added in his contract for just a split second, and he's just gone. And so now we have Nick Richards out of all people. Don't understand this move at all. Still, I'm very, very upset at this move. Not saying like Ousmane Dieng is going to turn to anything, but I'm just like, well, I would have rather have had Ousmane Dieng than Nick Richards, unfortunately. And so we get to go ahead and add Nick Richards. This is his cap hole. Blue again. Here's the color coordination. So blue is cap hole. Team option is for the red, and then player option is green. And then estimate. So as you see here, I'm just estimating 12th overall pick. This is probably gonna go down maybe to like the 10th now, but this is just an estimate for the time being. Dalen Terry is no longer here, as now Gershon Yabusele is here, and he does not have a player option for next season. Thank God, because that would have been horrendous if he did. But either way, I still don't love this trade. But his $5 million is officially added to the books here. Julian Phillips is also gone. We're gonna go ahead and add in Leonard Miller, who again I do kind of like Leonard Miller. And luckily for us, we actually don't have to do anything to the contracts, as he's making legitimately the same amount as Julian Phillips was making. So that is done. So I don't think I'm missing anybody. I think I should be good now. Nick Richards is in, Rob Dillingham is in, so is Leonard Miller. Yeah, I think this is actually it. So now what I always do, just to help me, because the way I like to format things, I go ahead and do this now and format. So we go to data rating sheet. We're going to sort by column C, so we're going to go off of this season, and then we hit Z to A, and then it's going to update. So now all the top contract, or the bigger contracts are at the top for the season, and it goes all the way down, and it keeps everyone's contracts in line with each other. So that is now officially for this season. Here is the Bulls salary books for the rest of the season here. Just go ahead and double check that we are doing our math correctly. As you can see here, the tax base for the for Spot Track says we have $5 million, and so right here, same number. We are perfectly aligned here. Now, these cap holds are still here for some reason, and I don't know why the Bulls, like, teams just hold on to these cap holds for whatever freaking reason. I don't know why, honestly, but that's the reason why when it comes to like, oh, cap space is like negative $28 million and this says negative 32. Well, these cap holds are part of that, and so I don't add in the cap holds personally. These will get renounced come this upcoming off season. So I just don't add them personally, but this is the same. Cap holds don't count like against the tax, so that's what this is here. So that is that officially. And now we can go ahead and look towards the next offseason here. And as you see with what I've done already with some of the contracts, so for example, Jaden Ivey. So I'm gonna put this to purple for us here now. So let's just say, for example, Jaden Ivey gets $15 million. Okay, this is assuming that we do not bring back Anthony Simons, we don't bring back Colin Sexton, we don't bring back Zach Collins or Yabusele. Okay, I'm also not bringing back Nick Richards. So that's actually gonna open up even more cap space for us this upcoming offseason here. So that means then we would have, obviously, we would have Giddey. Patrick Williams is still stuck here. Isaac Okoro is still here. We're going to re-sign Jaden Ivey, as that seems like that's been the plan all along. Rob Dillingham and Leonard Miller are still on the rookie contracts. So is Montes Buzelis, and obviously Asenge. I have not added in Asenge's full contract yet, so I'll get to adding in these years in a little bit. But basically, though, even with all this being said, and including this projected estimate of what the Bulls are going to pay for their first round pick here, the Bulls are going to also have multiple second round picks, I believe, in this upcoming draft. I'll have to double check that, but they're going to have at least one second round pick in this upcoming draft, so we're going to have to add some more salary maybe, but that's for a later time. But right now I'm looking at, for the Bulls, this is just assuming Jaden Ivey signed for $15 million a year. I don't know if he's going to do that, but we're looking right now at $52 million in cap space. That is a lot of money to kind of work with, and that's after a Jaden Ivey $15 million new contract, annual average salary. So a lot of decisions, honestly, and now that I'm looking at this, like, I know that some, I know at the 51 was talking about bringing back Simons, like, if Simons is actually gonna be like, willing to like accept like a smaller role, like I don't know, I'm just throwing in this number just for instance, but like you could would he be willing to just accept this as like the sixth man? I guess maybe I could see it. It'd be honestly like a pretty good trade contract if it's like $13 million per year and you still have about $40 million left in terms of cap space. So I don't know, maybe there's a world, honestly. But yeah, I honestly still feel like that you should be prioritizing, like, we need to get the other guys first in if we're going to go and get anybody, and then we can worry about maybe re-signing Simons. So we would have to renounce his cap hold, we would lose his bird rights, but then we might have some cap space left over to then just go ahead and re-sign him maybe. But that I feel like should be like on the back burner, in my opinion. That should be like the last move we do maybe in the offseason. So like get Anthony Simons on like a very tradable contract and then trade him later down the road. Sure, I could honestly be talked into it maybe. Again, I don't want Nick Richards here, so he's not coming back, and Zach Collins is also not coming back, at least in my eyes. So one more time, just to kind of look at the offseason for who's available. Spot track work. Hello. Yeah, I mean, we're going to go through unrestricted free agent types. Here you go. It's not really anything like too spectacular, at least in my opinion. I mean, Vooch is up here. We want to bring Vooch back, y'all? Yeah, that'd be fun. So yeah, I don't love this. I don't love this free agency class overall. I don't really think it, like, there's many guys that I'm like heavily interested in, honestly. So that's the reason why it's just like, yeah, I really do think that like the restricted free agents are kind of the area to go after. And so yeah, like Tari Eason, he's going to be here. Peyton Watson, if I can find him, is also going to be here. Yeah, here's Peyton Watson. So those are the guys personally that I'm looking at. I know Walker Kessler's here. I know that's someone that's been on Bulls fans' mind. So there's that. But either way, though, it's a lot of options for the Bulls, right? You can either go and try to go after one of these guys in restricted free agency, try to pry them away from the incumbent team. You could also then use this cap space to try to trade, where you accept bad contracts and you get, draft capital out of it, which is what I would probably recommend doing. You could then also try to, trade for somebody that is on a larger contract and not have to give up, many salaries because you could just absorb the contract. Unfortunately, you're probably having to give up some picks in that sort of situation, which I don't think is the right decision, but you could do that. So either way, though, there's a lot of options. In my opinion, there's a lot of options available. Bulls should be very active at this deadline, in the offseason. And, there's already a roster imbalance and everything, so if they're going to actually go and try to be competitive next season, they got a lot of work to do. If they're actually willing to go ahead and be bad, then I'm just like, okay, just you really need to just start accepting some terrible contracts for some draft capital, which they did a little bit of that this deadline, but they have to do more of it if they're going to be actually bad. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at some of these. It's just like not really the best free agency class, which then brings us to then the next offseason, which is, I think this is a little bit more interesting of an offseason in 2027, honestly. Now, there's obviously a lot more names, which is just like a humongous amount of names here. Like, I mean, like, there's a lot of guys that are just like, oh my god, Giannis is potentially available. Which, again, like, I don't think that's going to happen. But the Bulls might have to kind of work their way around, like, this next season, and then like maybe have a bunch of more cap space for then the following off season, honestly. Luckily for you, Buzelis would be on his last year of his rookie deal, so it would honestly kind of work out pretty well. But there's a lot of other names on here that I do think are a little bit more intriguing at the very least. But Yeah, this is just all sort of the instance of like you're gonna try to get better, which I don't know honestly at this point. I don't know what the hell we're gonna even do when it comes to trying to get better. So it's free agency. It seems like it's drafting, and hopefully they somehow don't mess it up. Which is just like, why should I have any faith in this team? Of like, yeah, I fully trust you to go ahead and like actually go get the proper guys and build an actual like contending level team. Like, yeah, definitely, I definitely trust you to go and do that. Which is just like, no, we don't. I was a spark plug for the team. Isaiah Thomas like that. Walt Lemon, yeah. Tim Hardaway. Oh, Tim Hardaway is also a great shout. Yeah. It is just very like it's just so Chicago. I don't know how else to explain it with how Io played. Skinner are Bulls fans who thought Jang had potential but just wasn't getting enough PT due to the Thunder depth, and that is true. Like, he wasn't getting enough PT because of the Thunder depth, but I'm not saying that Jang would have like come in and like been good, but I really don't think that trading him for Nick Richards is going to help you anymore, honestly. Trey Vucevic to Celtics, a dumb move. Close rival made better. Are you still stuck in 2009 or something? The Bulls and Celtics really haven't been a rival in like a while, it feels like, because the Bulls' relevancy has been pretty garbage. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics have won a championship in the last 3 years. So, I don't know. Are you still stuck in like the 2009 playoff series or whatever it was, or 2008? Whichever year it was. I think it was 2009. Well, whatever year it was, honestly. But again, like, I don't know why. I'm not. I honestly don't care if you think that way. Like, what needs to be more of a thought is that that was actually like a good decision by the Bulls to go and trade Vucevic to Boston and get that higher tier second round pick. So I'm not mad at that at all, honestly. We're just gonna be a 6-man in Boston, yeah. I do think Keita is going to start in Boston. That makes a lot of sense, and maybe it's already confirmed. Watch the Bulls bring Io back in the offseason. People will be like, what is the point of trading him in the first place? Well, so if the Bulls actually do that, like, it's actually like kind of good business then. Like, it's actually pretty smart, because it's just like, okay, well, listen, buddy, we're going to bring you back in the offseason, but we're going to trade you now to get some assets, and then we're just going to bring you back. The thing is, though, is that I'm pretty sure that that's just not allowed. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that like we talked about this about like the Thaddeus Young trade, right? Like, we wanted to try to get Thaddeus Young after we traded him, but then obviously that wasn't allowed. So maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it was actually maybe with Thaddeus Young it was because it was in the same off season that you couldn't do that. But hold on, let me actually check here. Is there actually a rule against that? Because like, yeah, that'd be pretty interesting if we could actually do that. Ivy Dillingham and 10 second round picks for Zion. Even as much as maybe that might be a better offer than the Bulls could have offered beforehand, I still don't think the Pelicans accept that. I still don't, unfortunately. Let's see. NBA rule. Oh, okay. Interesting. So it seems like actually they could actually do this. They could. There is actually. It does seem like that. You could actually just like go and re-sign Io this offseason, because the rule is that. At least what I'm reading, if I'm assuming this is correct, I'm gonna have to like double check this with other sources, but it's basically like if you trade a player that is. If you trade a player, basically, you have to wait for that player's contract that you just traded to expire, and then you can go ahead and sign them. Like, there's no restrictions then. So, like, for example, though, like, let's say, for example, like, if the Bulls traded Io last season, and then for whatever reason, for some reason that team cut him. I don't think that would have applied. Like, I think that would have been, like, the Bulls couldn't have signed him then, because, like, Io's still getting money technically in that. So I think that's how. God, I might have to actually go and like message Keith Smith about this, because that is actually like a very interesting thought of just like, are you able to actually just re-sign Io this upcoming off season or something? Like, that'd be hilarious, honestly. But I know like there is some restriction. I just have to figure out what exactly is. Oh, okay. So if a player gets traded and released, they can't just go back. So, for example, with like the not Dario Saric, Mike Conley, for example. Like, Mike Conley, we traded away to the Hornets, who then got waived. We can't bring back Mike Conley this season. So yeah, I guess it actually seems like you're allowed to do it. Like, we could just go and re-sign Io this offseason, I guess, if they took the one to do it. I don't know why they would do it, honestly. I feel like they've moved on officially, but that would be honestly pretty hilarious. Yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty funny, but no, we're not gonna honestly do that. Oh, hey, Charles, you're back. Simons is slightly better than Kobe's. Slightly better Kobe, similar of nearest to whom replaces who is a bit more consistent. So they're like different games, right? Or I guess not fully different games, but Simons is definitely like, at least because of how he had to play in Boston this season, like, he is just like launching threes, right? Like, that's basically Anthony Simons' job, is just like, yep, I'm launching threes. Where Kobe obviously was like a little bit like kind of, attack and wasn't as like fully reliant on his like three ball. But like he would obviously take a lot, but like, it's a lot of threes still. Right? Honestly, Simons has been doing this since Portland. Like, it's just been launch threes. So yeah, they're definitely similar in a sense. I do think though that Simons' 3-point shot is more consistent, and so you might end up just valuing him a little bit more that way. Thing is though, is that like, I still don't really feel like we should be like keeping him moving forward, because again, you just got Jaden Ivey, so like, what's the point of bringing in Simons as well? But yeah, I did just kind of say though, as I was like looking at the new cap sheet for the Bulls, like, I could maybe understand where it's like you re-sign Simons to like a really team-friendly deal, and then you would trade him away. I know also, I think it was Rozzy that said it, or someone said it, but like sign and trade options, like, yeah, I'm all for those. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I don't really want him here right now, because I kind of just kind of want to see Ivy just play. But yeah, the Bulls they're evaluating, I guess. I guess that's the way that they look at it. I'm sad that the new peeps will mean Boost probably doesn't increase shot dial with this whole team here. That is definitely something that is a little bit concerning, because like, Simons is just going to launch it, right? He's definitely not going to allow like Buzelis to get some shots. Like, I actually thought Buzelis should have gotten some more shots today in certain moments where I'm like, oh, like, it's a transition opportunity, throw it up to Buzelis, and they just didn't give it to him. Yeah, that would definitely be a disappointing part of this, if that is what ends up coming to fruition. But I won't be shocked if it does. Like, you have so many guards on this roster, and they're all gonna have the ball at some point. Like, they're just gonna probably look for their own, and I don't blame them. Simons is a far better shooter than Kobe. I don't know if I'd say far better, but I would say that he is a better shooter. Yeah. I would, if I had to choose definitely between him and Kobe with 3-point shooting, like, I'm choosing Simons. I also do think though that Simons has like a little bit more like what we would call unlimited range, and his quick trigger, like, as just a spacing threat, is like, it could definitely be he could definitely be a much more like 3-point threat than Kobe had ever been here, just because his trigger is so fast that any sort of like DHO, for example, Simons could just launch it. And so if you don't play the DHO correctly, and like he's 29 feet out, like, or even 30 plus feet out, like he can just launch it and make it. Honestly, like he has a higher chance of making that versus Kobe. So yeah, his 3-point shot is definitely much more valuable than Kobe's ever was. However, I'm still I am seeing some of the issues with him. Like he's like, the defense today was atrocious. Not great. I'm going to cut him some slack. It's, you know, new team and everything, but like there were some really bad defensive moments today. And I do kind of wonder, like, because like almost every single shot today, besides like that scoop layup that he hit, like, it was all jump shots today, pretty much. So that's kind of like the only thing that I am looking at with Simons. It's just like, is he just like only a jump shooter? Which is fine. Like, if you can shoot a good percentage, obviously. Like, if you're shooting 40% from 3-point range, and like I said this earlier in the stream, I was like, if Simons is going to take 15 threes, but shoot 40% from 3-point range on those 15 threes, okay, sure. Like, I have no issues with that whatsoever. Like, that's totally fine with me. But that would, though, it would limit him as just being like mostly just a jump shooter. So I don't really know if there's much of a ceiling for him, unfortunately, besides just what he is right now. No, team practice for these new players to simulate, so a bit hard to judge whose shot diet is set. So I agree with that in some sense, but like Simons like had a quick trigger like since his Portland days. Like, this is not new for him. Like, the way that Simons has played today, like, that's like not abnormal for him at all. He played this way in Portland, so and he kind of did play this way in Boston. What just came off the bench though, so yeah, I'm fine with him just launching threes. Like, I have no issues with it. I'm more so just trying to figure out exactly what we would do with him moving forward, because again, we just got Jerry Ivey here, so they just all these guys just play the same fucking position. Like, I don't like Sexton. Like, there is no reason why Sexton needs to be here right now. I already know that some Bulls fans are going to fall in love with Sexton just because, like, you're going to see him really try on the defensive end. Like, yeah, Sexton, like, gives effort defensively, and that alone is going to win over the hearts of some Bulls fans. But there's, like, no reason for him to be here. There's just basically no reason for him to just kind of stick around. I don't know why he's going to be here, honestly. I have a bad overall thought, though, and I hate to kind of say this, but I respect, first and foremost, for all the people that did leave. Like, I wish nothing but the best for them. Like, I don't ever want them to fail. But when it comes to Sexton versus Kobe White, like, there is honestly there's kind of like this argument right now that I think we might have to kind of start looking at as just like, like, I want you guys just to look at Colin Sexton's numbers this season, and honestly look at his numbers like the past 4 seasons, honestly. Look at his shooting percentages, okay? Like, let's just look at this right now. 48% on all of them, okay? Kobe White shooting percentages every single season, it's basically 45 or lower, okay? Sexton's 3-point shooting percentages are 39% or better the last 4 seasons. Kobe White's 3-point shooting percentages are basically 37% or worse, okay? Colin Sexton this season is averaging 14.2 points per game, and yeah, there's like the assists and whatever, but again, 14.2 points per game. Now, I understand that Kobe is averaging more points per game, but Kobe also started in a lot of these games. Colin Sexton's been coming off the bench, okay? Sexton, in his, 2 previous seasons, has, started for most of the games during that year. He averaged 18.4 and 18.7 points per game. I mean, Kobe averaged a little bit more, but, as we saw, less efficient overall. The per 36 numbers also don't really fully, it doesn't, really give Kobe much of, a help here. Like, I look at these per 36 numbers, I'm just like, here's Kobe's per 36 numbers with 23.1 points per game. Here's Colin Sexton's per 36 numbers at 22.9 points per game. There is, already a genuine argument that, Sexton's, better than Kobe White. Now, I understand that there's some people that are like, no, that's not the case, but like, I honestly think that there is like a genuine world where like for the Charlotte Hornets, like they kind of got worse in this trade. Yeah, I'm happy for Kobe to go and play in his home state. Like that's awesome for him, and like him coming off the bench is like, that's probably the better role for him. But in terms of like player to player basis of like who's better right now, like there's a genuine argument that Sexton's like better right now than Kobe is. I don't think people have realized like how good Colin Sexton has actually played the last like couple of seasons, and not to mention that his efficiency is just like significantly better. So I don't know. It's just something that I was just like, you know. I don't. I'm not like here to kind of like be like, yeah, this is like, you know, end all be all or whatever. But it was kind of interesting because I was talking to my friend David about this. It was just like, you know, I'm happy the Bulls traded Kobe. Like it was definitely something that was necessary. I'm just looking at this where the Hornets is just like, I don't know if he got better today, and he just gave up like a bunch of second round picks for it. So, now, to be clear, I don't want Sexton here for this future. He's 27. I don't want him here for the future. Like I don't want him. I don't want him here. You know, he's much better suited to go play for a contender and like go help there. But I was just like looking at this. It's just like, this is quite interesting. I'm not sure honestly who got better in this trade. But yeah, it would have honestly been really nice if we just kept Jang. Honestly, but anyway, at the end of the day, I do really think that people are going to fall in love with Sexton. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, there's going to be so many Bulls fans going to see him play, see his effort, and be like, oh, wow. Like, he doesn't have, like, the terrible, like, shot selection that Kobe White maybe sometimes has. And he actually gives, like, defensive effort versus when Kobe didn't. Like, oh, we should keep him. Again, respect the player. I respect Colin Sexton as what he's become, but I don't need him around. Like, I just don't. This team needs to actually go and like actually hit the full-out reset button. And having a 27-year-old Colin Sexton moving forward doesn't make any sense. So, we'll have to see. Should die maybe set, but I think I should get shots and probably natural will take most of Vooch's shots worth, and Simons probably eats all of Kobe's shots. So it's where limit IO shots up. Pretty much, yeah, and like some of the Herter shots, yeah. With the rest of the Vooch shots versus the other new players, yeah. What's going on? DJ Hill? Chillsbury. I hope we get to see Simons and Ivy more with Giddey, as both were really game from his drive, kicked open threes. I mean, I want to see that. I just don't understand like how you're gonna see it though. Like it's gonna be one or the other on the floor, right? I don't think you're gonna play all three. I feel like it's just bad. Like that's like no defense between the three of them. So, yeah, Kobe versus Colin Sexton. Yeah, I was just looking at those numbers. I was just like, this is quite interesting. Now, granted, I don't. Maybe it's just like they were just interested in Kobe more because he's younger. Like that's a valid argument for the Hornets. But if they were trying to actually get better today, like or yesterday, I feel like they got worse. So I don't know. It's just quite interesting to me. Simons at most, maybe as someone said earlier, cheaper sign and trade hope. Yeah, I think that's probably what we were looking at right now. So. Also, were you as pissed as I was regarding the IO trade? Oh yeah, man, I was so pissed off with that trade. I think that you could have just kept IO next for, you know, this is under the hypothetical that he would resign, which I guess like that's not a guarantee. I am very much aware of that, but I think you could have risked trying to keep him, and then if you did keep him and you got him on a new contract, like even if he got a big like kind of like payday, like he got like $15 million per year, like I still think you would have traded him for more value than you got today. And I don't know if this was truly like his actual like true value, but if it was, then you know what, I would have just kept him instead. But yeah, I'm pretty overall upset at it, honestly. Trading Giddey probably will help shot distribution, at least if Simons isn't taking the ball up so much. It would, but I kind of want to see like specifically like Ivy bring the ball up in some of these instances. Like I understand that those guys are like the point guards, quote unquote, but I kind of want to see Ivy really start initiating some actions as well. Simons is going to get his opportunities as well. Like he's going to get those opportunities. I'm not shocked at it. Bulls would have kept themselves behind the 8 ball if Kobe stayed. How much would it have taken to keep Kobe? I think it would have costed them at least $25 million per year, because he would have made the argument that, oh, hey, look, you guys look at me as a starter, right? And that alone is going to like try to drive up his value, and he's going to be like, well, you pay Josh Giddey, $100 million a year, or $100 million over 4 years. Like, you paid him 25 annual average salary, so why can't I get that? So I think it honestly was going to cost the Bulls $25 million per year or more. And it's because like Kobe White's value to the Bulls is higher than like maybe some of these other teams, but it's not high enough to the point where it's like, yeah, you should keep him. Like, no, there's just no reason, honestly. So yeah, I'm very much happy that they traded Kobe. Like, it was the right decision. I was telling people in my Twitter replies, and I was telling people on stream, the return is gonna suck. Don't expect a first. If you can get one, great, but don't expect one. And guess what? You didn't get one. Like, I was not shocked at all to see that return. Honestly, I was kind of shocked that we even got 3 second-round picks. I thought it was gonna be 2. But again, it's an L already, because you could have traded him last season or even last offseason and got him a lot more than you got today. But you didn't. That's just bad asset management. So, yeah, I was overall pretty pissed off with how they handled the Kobe situation in general. But I was happy that they went ahead and traded him at this deadline, because it was the proper decision, because holding on to him made no sense. And it's pretty safe to say we're tanking, right? If you are happy overall with this direction. So here's the thing. I said it a little bit earlier, DJ Hill, but I'll repeat myself. Like, I don't fully know if this team is tanking. Multiple reasons why. One, the Jang trade that we got Nick Richards in. I don't understand why the Bulls got Nick Richards and they traded Ousmane Dieng for him. It makes no sense. To me, if the Bulls were actually truly tanking, then you just keep Ousmane Dieng. He's 22 years old. Like, yes, he's going to be a restricted free agent. I understand he has this like big cap hold over his head, but like, you just keep him, because like there's an actual chance that like he might actually like turn into something. And the Bulls, like, we're going to give him a lot of playing time and be like, okay, like, you know what? Here's your chance. Here's your opportunity. He might show something, and like you just keep him. Like, he's a young player that has some potential in him. But instead, though, they traded him for Nick Richards, and I'm just like, why? Nick Richards is 28 and is bad, but it's like he's a win now move. So, as much as I want to believe that it's the Bulls are tanking, because like if they were tanking, then like, yeah, I feel a lot better about the Bulls' direction, or I guess maybe not a lot better, but I feel better about the Bulls' direction moving forward if they are truly tanking. But like, I wasn't convinced that they were tanking until like the Ayo Dosunmu trade happened, but then they immediately made me kind of rethink it when they decided to trade Ousmane Dieng for Nick Richards. Like, to me, Nick Richards has no place on a team for tanking. Like, I don't understand this at all. I also think that if they were truly tanking, that like Colin Sexton is not going to be here. Sexton is a win now player. And so if the Bulls were truly tanking, I feel like that no matter what, they would have gotten his contract off the books. And they definitely, like, he doesn't make like Simons level money to where it's like hard to trade him. Like, they definitely could have traded him. I think if the Bulls were tanking, that Trey Jones and Jalen Smith are off this roster right now. Because those are win now players that have helped you win a lot of games this season. And like, though they can go and help a team win, but instead they're still here. And then the Gershon Yabusele trade was just like the icing on the cake, where I'm just like, I don't know if the Bulls are actually tanking, because they went and traded for a 30-year-old, or for a 30-year-old. Like, Gershon is 30 years old. I don't know why he's here. So as much as I want to believe that the Bulls are tanking, which, again, the front office, like AK himself during his press conference today said that they are not rebuilding, but instead that this is just a stage that in my opinion, that we're not tanking. And I'm just like, this franchise is still as directionless as it was before the deadline. Now they have some more assets to work with, so they're in arguably a better spot than before. But it's just like, it's not like I feel like we've like fully committed to it. Now, if I actually see this team, for example, like if they sit Giddey for the rest of the season and they actually go and like lose a ton of games, and then I'll believe like, okay, we're actually tanking finally. Like they're like intentionally losing games. Like that's good. But I mean, they gave like an actual like hell of a chance tonight against the Raptors, and I mean, they had like 3 new guys tonight, and like these guys haven't practiced yet, and they still made it a close game. Like, and this is without Colin Sexton and Dillingham and Leonard Miller coming into the mix yet. So I'm still concerned that this team is still trying to get to the play-in. Are we gonna make the play-in tournament? At this point, I think there's a higher chance the Bulls miss the play-in tournament now just because of how well Charlotte is playing, and Charlotte is soon going to pass us in standings. But in terms of us like actually making sure like we get like top 10 in terms of like lottery odds, like I don't know if we're even going to get there, honestly. But I hope we do. Now I hope that we can find a way to like get like 9th best lottery odds before the season's over. But I don't know if we do at this point. I feel like we have enough still to kind of actually like win some like random games, and it's not going to get us below like the Grizzlies or even like the Clippers of the world now, because the Clippers just traded Ivica Zubac. So I'm not sure if it's really going to get us below those guys at this moment. Painting on Ron Dillingham, consensus seems to say he's ass. He's pretty bad. I don't like small guards, man. I hate it. I'm not a fan of it. Like, especially like I was fine getting him in the return for Kobe, but in return for Ayo, I hate it because I think Ayo had more trade value. But yeah, I flat out I'm not a fan of Dillingham. Now I want him to get a shot here, right? Like, I'm not, just because I'm not a fan of him right now does not mean that I don't want him to like get a shot and try to succeed here. Like I want him to succeed here. It's fine that the Bulls are taking a chance on him. It's just like I feel like you could have gotten more out of that deal and still gotten Dillingham, and still gotten more value for Ayo in return. But I just don't know how he's going to play. Like, if Giddey's available, so is Trey Jones. Like, that's 6 freaking guards that all have to play minutes, and there's only 2 guards can really play at once, or I guess 3, I guess, if you're Billy Donovan. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Dillingham. I like Leonard Miller more than Dillingham at the moment in time, which is just the unfortunate part. Sexton's a better fit, is better as he could fit with more players, and is a better defender than Kobe for most teams. A few teams could use Kobe more, but Sexton over Kobe to me, for them, yes, and yes, don't wish to keep. Yeah. So the rotation for guards like a Giddey with Ivy, and then Trey on for Giddey and Simons on for Ivy, and we haven't even mentioned Sexton or Dillingham yet. It's just like I don't understand what we're doing with all these guards. No doubt, I'll miss Trey defense helping out with Giddey and offering height to his. Yeah, I think Giddey returns a solid chance the Bulls are still in the play-in. I mean, yeah, there is a solid chance, which is just like we shouldn't be at this point. Like, why? How embarrassing is it you trade Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, Lonzo, Kobe, and I get one first back at your own? Yeah, it's awful, man. I had someone tweet today, by the way, about that. Like, it's like I tweeted out. Like Steph No tweeted that exact tweet out that you just put in chat, DJ Hill. Like, I tweeted out about how like this is what happens when you have like terrible asset management. Like, you hold on to assets for way too long until they deteriorate, and then you trade them when they have no value. And I had someone like requote that tweet and said, like, I'm honestly fine with all these trades. Like, I think the Bulls honestly did really well in the return for DeRozan and what they got back for Lonzo, and they got good return back for Levine, and they did a good job of getting Giddey for Alex Caruso. Like, I'm honestly okay with all the returns, and I was just like, I almost responded to that, but then I'm like, this might just be rage bait, and I just don't want to just get into a whole fight with this person over just, over the phone or over a fucking terrible platform. But I was just like, what? There are still AK defenders, man. Like, there are genuinely still AK defenders that believe that what he did in all the trades that he did to trade all those guys and what he got in return is okay. I'm like, what? Like, it just is so mind-boggling to me how there are people that are just gonna always be just sucking up to this guy and believing that everything that he does is right, when it's just like, I honestly like want to like have like a camera on them and just like watch them like what their opinions are and just like keep eyeing them for like forever and just watch them for like the next like 50 fucking years and see if like the Bulls don't do anything good or if never get past the first round of the playoffs, and like I want to see how they react. Like they may not be jaded now in terms of like how much they hate like how they look at this Bulls franchise. Like they may think that this Bulls franchise is totally fine and at this current moment in time, but let's look at them in 50 years or like even 30 years from now. Let's say that this Bulls franchise continues to do nothing, which would not shock me, and 30 years from now, we still have not gotten past the first round of the fucking playoffs. We still don't have a superstar on the roster. AK was just fired 10 years ago because it took so damn long to actually fire that man. Like, I still wonder what those people were going to act as. Like, they might actually still just be like, yeah, the Bulls are fine. Like, I'm all for what the Bulls are doing right now. And I'm just like, I need you to go into like some sort of mental establishment and like get checked, because there is just no logic in my head that's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, nothing. I don't know, man. Some people are just there are some people that just find ways to do stuff to mix up the logic to the point where it somehow works in their favor in their head, and I'm like, ugh. I think they're taking it because the roster is even more unbalanced than it was before the trade. So I understand what you're saying, but let me put it to you in this sort of like context, okay? The Bulls may be, where you have like an abundance of guards and, we don't have much big man help. The big man help is like much, much worse than it was before, okay? That may be like true of what I just said, in that like we have a shit ton of guards, there's like so much roster imbalance, and like the big men are less helpful than what it was before the deadline. What if I told you though that the Bulls intentionally did this because they're trying to like fully be bought in on their pace, and so you're gonna definitely be seeing 3-guard lineups out there, and the Bulls are all in on like running small lineups and trying to keep the pace up as fast as possible, and they're just going to depend on these guys just to keep running. And their offense has already generated a lot of like quality shots this season, and if they just go ahead and run, they think that they can try to maximize some of these guys' play by just having so many more possessions every single night. That's their way of thinking that, we can actually still win with this. Like, they didn't call this a tank, they call this an evaluation time. And I personally think that they're evaluating to see who they're going to be keeping instead of evaluating like the young players and seeing like how much they're going to pay them this offseason, right? Like, those are two different evaluations, right? If you're evaluating this team and looking at them and like watching all these guys play, be like, okay, who are we keeping next season to try to help us win, versus you evaluating the players that you got, but mostly the younger players like Ivy, that you got like and Dillingham. Like, instead of you focusing on those guys as like your evaluation, you're instead focusing on instead of thinking about how much I'm going to pay Ivy this upcoming offseason, like you're instead thinking about like, can Anthony Simons really help us next season? Like, yeah, I'm sure you can. Like, if you truly do want to win games next season, like, yeah, he can really help you. Can Colin Sexton help you win games next season? Yeah, for sure. That's the reason why I'm not sold that this is a full-out tank. I'm concerned that this is definitely like we just shuffle the roster, we're going to just see who we want to keep next season, and we're going to roll out a very similar roster next season. So, I'm concerned personally. As much as I want to believe that this is a true, this is a true tank, I'm not buying it yet. I'll have to see some things happen if that was the case. Did he have a press conference today? He did. There is, if you want to go watch it, it's on the Chicago Bulls YouTube. It's under the live section. He had a live stream today, yeah. People weren't really against the tank because they wanted to try to win as soon as possible. People were against the tank because of AK's draft history, and that's fine, but no matter what though, even if you're against AK's draft history right now, like the Bulls getting the 13th overall pick in this upcoming draft versus like them getting maybe potentially like the 9th, like you want the 9th overall pick. I don't care if you think that AK's draft history is like garbage, like you still want this Bulls team to tank out the rest of the season. It's a good decision. Like, there's no reason for the Bulls to try to win some games here. It doesn't help them at all. So, like, I understand that there's people against the tank for many different reasons, but specifically for the rest of this season, you want this Bulls team to lose out. There is no reason for this Bulls team to win, and it's going to help this Bulls team for the future. A soft tank? Maybe it's a soft tank this season. Which I'm honestly, like, I'm even, like, on board for that. Like, if it's, like, a soft tank for just, like, the rest of the season and then they try to go and, like, be good next season, it would require a lot of moves to be made, but, like, I actually, like, would be, like, okay with that decision. It's just that you actually have to go and actually make some moves. You can't just, like, sit on your ass and just be like, okay, we're gonna try again this season, and then roll out a very similar lineup and do nothing to address your terrible defense and address your roster imbalance and be like, yep, we're gonna still just try. Like, if that's what they do, then I'm, like, really upset, because, like, they're trying and then it's just like, no, like, you didn't do anything. Now, if they actually go and, like, you know, sign Peyton Watson and they make some trades and they help really improve the defense, they go and actually get, like, a true center that's gonna be valuable, like, yeah, I think that's something a little bit more enticing. I can live with it. You don't want AK to make a back pick no matter what the draft position, and it sets the team back even worse. So let me put it to you this way, Woodage. So in the Montes Buzelis draft, would you have been okay if the Bulls just didn't have that pick? Because to me, it was valuable to still pick Montes Buzelis in that draft. Like, that to me is like, that's the reason why I think your logic doesn't apply here, because yes, I'm very much aware that AK's draft history is garbage, but I still want the pick, right? Like, I still want, if I could choose between AK picking at 9 or 13, I'm picking 9, and I would still rather have the first round pick. Because if you're trading a pick, you're not trading it for anything that's going to be of future value. You're trading it for win now help. So for this Bulls team to actually go and actually, like, win, like, you need to actually still make these picks. Even if you don't trust this front office to actually make the picks, you still have to go and have them make these picks. And it would be better if they could pick at 9 versus picking at 13 or 12. That would be better. It would be better if they go into the draft lottery and they have a higher chance, like, even if it's just a 6% chance. It'd be better for them if they even just had a 6% chance of jumping into the top 4 versus what if they would just try to keep winning for the rest of the season and have a slim to none chance of jumping to the top 4. Like, that's the reason why it's like, you have to, for the rest of the season, I don't think there's any argument right now. Like, you have to embrace it. Like, it would be the best decision to just go ahead and tank. Because guess what? The Bulls are going to make a pick anyway, right? Like, they're not trading this pick. So if they're going to make a pick anyway, I would much rather it just being at 9 versus it being at 13. I mean, I read earlier that Yabusele's player option and his contract was removed, which makes him an expiring. How does that help our cap space this summer? So basically, yeah, it was basically this much money. I don't know the exact numbers it was, but that's too many zeros. Pretty much though, it was just like, this would have been on our books. I understand that it's not like catastrophic, but it just didn't make any sense to bring on this money. Like, if Yabusele still had that player option, this would have been a horrendous trade from the Bulls, because if the Bulls got draft capital back and they took on the contract, like, that's one thing, that's fine. I'm not complaining about that. But the Bulls didn't do that. Like, if the Bulls actually just, like, took on his, like, player option and didn't get any draft capital back, that's horrendous, because it would have taken up $5+ million of cap space. Now I understand, again, like, it's not like the end of the world, but still, like, you know, about $6 million in cap space, like, that could actually be a difference. And so luckily for us, it's not that. I still think the Bulls should have probably gotten a second out of it, because Yabusele's had a horrendous year in so far this season before tonight. Like, he had a good game tonight, but, like, he was having a horrendous year. You could have, like, leveraged that into a second rounder, because the thing is that the Knicks needed Dalen Terry to trade for Jose Alvarado. They couldn't trade Yabusele plus second round picks for Jose Alvarado, because if they could have done that, they would have done it before trading for Dalen Terry. Okay, so they actually had to trade for Dalen Terry to get Jose Alvarado. The Bulls could have leveraged that more and gotten a second round pick from them, and then they would have had, the Knicks would have then traded Dalen Terry and then 2 more second round picks to get Jose Alvarado. But they didn't do that, so it's still just like, it's an overall L still, because you added a 30-year-old to your roster for really no reason. But yeah, I don't get it, honestly. Montes was lucky. Well, so what? Like, the pick is still valuable, right? So at the end of the day, I still want the pick. Basically, the higher you draft, the lesser chance you have of fucking up. That's not always true, but no matter what, I would much rather you just be in a better spot to draft higher. Like, drafting higher just puts you in a better spot. You technically have a higher chance technically of like actually fucking it up, because like if there's like an obvious person on the board that you should be taking, like you could just like not take him. But no, I still would much rather you just stay up at high boards, because you being up higher, it's going to get you a guy most, like, again, it's not always guaranteed, but like there's a higher chance that person's a little bit more kind of like guaranteed, like, oh, you're going to, like, no matter what, like, here's your floor of this person, versus when you draft later, like, you are drafting based off potential, but their floor might not be as high as players drafted ahead of them. Like, players drafted ahead of them have a high ceiling but also like a pretty nice floor. Players drafted after that have like maybe high potential, but their floor is not really as certain. And so no matter what, you still want to draft higher, in my opinion. Anthony, I mean, that entire draft was a fuck up. The Anthony Bennett draft was a fuck up in and of itself. That entire draft is something different. But yeah, I mean, I do think that your next point of like, yeah, drafting Patrick Williams over Tyrese Halliburton, yeah, that's an issue. That's definitely an issue. It's terrible. It's a terrible job by the Bulls front office. However, I also am very much aware though that was a ridiculously stupid like draft type of season with the COVID situation, that certain players' stock really rose when they really shouldn't have, because it was COVID year. So I feel a lot better about the Bulls drafting higher now when it's not a COVID year and they're trying to figure their shit out and they aren't really able to actually have a draft combine and can't really hold workouts like properly. Like I feel a lot better about the whole drafting situation if they drafted higher now versus drafting, you know, as high as 4th in the 2020 draft. But let me put it to you this way. Let's say the Bulls were just 1 pick higher in that 2020 draft, right? And they picked LaMelo Ball. Like, that's significantly better than Patrick Williams, obviously. And LaMelo Ball has turned into an actual all-star in his career. So, like, that, it's still, no matter what, you want to draft higher. There's nothing you can tell me to convince me otherwise. And also, yeah, this draft, as DJ Hill is saying, like, this draft is like very important. It's a very solid draft. Yeah. We got a low second round pick so I can find his next Joker. I mean, we're all praying for it, right? But I'm with people that I don't think we're going to use all those second round picks. I think we're going to trade a lot of them. I do think though we're gonna be using that New Orleans pick, like the New Orleans or the high value second round pick we got back in the Boston Celtics trade. That's gonna be like top 5 in the second round. I do think we use that pick. It's basically like a late first. It's arguably even like a better late first. So I think we use that pick. Actually drafted LaMarcus Aldridge in 06 and traded for Tyrese Thomas. I mean, yeah, I'm aware of that. What's your point though? I don't understand the point. Like, yeah, you're able to go ahead and like in the end, like you're able to actually like make that sort of trade, right? Like it's a stupid deal in hindsight, obviously, right? But would that trade have been possible if the Bulls don't get, you know, it was top 2 pick? No, or was it top 3? Not saying it was a good deal, but I'm just saying this is like, it's, again, you have higher value if the pick is higher. So overall, how many of the seconds end up getting traded and sold for cash? So right now we have currently 14 second round picks. I think at least let's go 7.5. Because I think the Bulls probably do trade at least half of those. So let's go 7.5 as over under. If I had to choose, I'm picking the over. Let's actually look here. Okay, this is not even updated. Oh, I forgot the Vucevic trade still hasn't gone through yet, huh? Oh, yeah, that... Oh, no, it did. No, the Vucevic trade did go through. We have Simons tonight. Wait, what? Okay, this is just wrong then. We should be having a pick here. This should be like the New Orleans pick. The Vucevic trade did go through, so I don't know why this is not updated yet. Yeah, this also doesn't have the IO picks in either, so yeah, this is just not updated. Let's see if Spot Track has updated it. I kind of doubt if Spot Track has updated it as well, just because like there's just so many pieces moving. But let's check. No. Okay, they still haven't updated this yet. Oh no. Well, maybe they did. No, okay, it's still not updated. So, yeah, we're still waiting for all these picks to get in. But basically, though, the Bulls traded for 9 picks. They had 5 before, or sorry, 9 second-round picks. They had 5 second-round picks before that. So we have a total of 14, pretty much, now. Bulls are like the Thunder, but are worse with second-rounders than first. Or worse with second-rounders than first-rounders. Yeah, sure, I guess. The team that's like the Thunder right now is the Memphis Grizzlies. They have as many first-round picks as anybody in the league right now. So the Grizzlies are sitting pretty. Did you go over what seconds we got back in the IO trade? I have not gone over it on stream, but I'll pull it up of what we did get in return. It's not good. It's nothing spectacular, unfortunately. Okay, actually, perfect. Yossi Goslin actually has a full-out list of what we got. So this actually really helps out. So, in terms of what the Bulls got back in the Ayo Dosunmu trade, okay? So Michael A. Scotto actually has that for us. So it's 2026 least favorable between Denver and Golden State. So we get Denver's, unfortunately. So it's the worst. A 2027 pick from the Cavs. So I mean the Cavs are all in on their, they just got Harden, right? So the Cavs, I'm assuming, are gonna be good next season, but maybe I'm wrong. 2031 second most favorable of Minnesota Golden State. This could be good. Like, this is like assuming that like Steph Curry is no longer Steph Curry, I guess. But even still, I don't know why. I still feel like Golden State is still actually going to still be like relevant in 2031. And then a 2032 second of most favorable between Phoenix and Houston. I think this is the one that probably has the most like potential of being good. But yeah, it's nothing really spectacular. It's just so hard to gauge like where teams are going to be in 7 years, right? 5 or 6, 7 years. So it's just hard to gauge it. But these will definitely go up and down in value as we kind of see the landscape between all the teams. Like, for example, like if in 2031 both the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors are just complete garbage, like, yeah, obviously this is becoming a pretty, a nice overall looking second round pick. But yeah, in terms of like early return, it's nothing good. This is hard to gauge, but I personally don't have much faith in this one, and then this one I have, I guess, some faith, but I'm not loving it at the end of the day. But if you want a full list of what we got, let's go ahead and check out what we got right now. So yeah, Bulls now have 14 second-round picks. They only had 5 last week, as I said earlier. So here we go. Here is the list of second-round picks that we currently own as the Chicago Bulls. So this is the pick. The first one that is listed is the one from the Vucevic trade. So it's the most favorable between all these teams, but the biggest one is New Orleans. So this is pretty much like guaranteed, almost like top 5 in the second round, which is the reason why it's like pretty valuable. So again, like I'm very happy we got that pick. That's very nice. And so then yes, we also did get another second round pick here for this upcoming draft. I don't think we're going to be using this one though. Because again, it's going to be the least favorable, which means it's that it's going to be Denver Nuggets pick here, and they're, near the top of the West. So don't really see too much of that happening. We're not, unless somehow Denver falls off a cliff here as well. It's not going to be that valuable. So I think the Bulls trade that for cash considerations. And then 2027 Cleveland unprotected, I don't think that's that valuable either. Our own in 2028, our own in 2029, and then the lesser between Detroit, Milwaukee, and New York. I think all these teams have a chance of being pretty solid at that point, besides, I guess, obviously maybe Milwaukee, but we'll see about Milwaukee. But again, either way, it's the lesser between all these teams, so it's going to be the worst of all these picks. The lesser of Charlotte and Denver. So again, the worst team between the worst pick between those two teams. And I mean, Charlotte seems to have like a really nice core. I don't see why I should be believing that Denver's gonna just be terrible then. But who knows at that point? It's a long ways down the road. And so then Denver unprotected in 2031. We'll see about that. Milwaukee unprotected in 2031. That looks pretty good. Favorable between Minnesota and Golden State. So this is the one these are the ones that we're talking about, the Ayo Dosunmu trade. Yeah, I don't have much faith in that one for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my own bias. And then 2032, I think that one I have some faith in. So it's nothing amazing, but it's just harder to kind of gauge these picks in the future, because like we think that Milwaukee might actually be like, they're gonna trade Giannis and like they're gonna be terrible in 2031, but like what if in the next like 4 years the Bucks trade Giannis, they get good return for him, and they kind of fully reset, and then all of a sudden they're good in 2031. Like that is a possibility. So it's so difficult to kind of gauge some of these. Just like, yeah, we down the road, it's just like that seems pretty valuable. I think like you can gauge like the obviously this season, next season, then maybe 2028, but the ones like in 2029, for example, just knowing that you're gonna get the worst pick out of all these teams, it's like it already kind of feels really bad. So it's just not that much value at the end of the day, at least for now. That could change, right? It could definitely change. Things can change, but for now, I don't really see too much value with some of these, especially in the Iowa ones. Personally, Kobe ones also weren't really that much value. The one that right now is a lot of value is that one we got from the Celtics in that Vooch and Simons trade. So that's that. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and move ahead here. So the Bulls go ahead and they lose in their first game since the trade deadline, and obviously we're missing a lot of people, but we get to go back home, and I'm assuming that almost everybody that was traded, honestly, probably everybody that was traded here should be here for this Denver Nuggets game. Jokic is back, so I do expect the Bulls to get absolutely beat down. But the biggest thing is that we want to see how some of these guys play. I want to see especially how Dillingham is going to be playing and how he's going to be used, honestly, with all these guards. I'm still very confused how it's going to work out. Yeah, but Ivy, to me, is like the guy I think everyone should have their eye on. That's just how he's playing. Dillingham is probably number 2 for now, and then obviously, like I think I kind of know what we're gonna get for Simons anyway. So like, I know that maybe some people are gonna like really enjoy Simons' game, that's fair. I'm not here to to say like don't enjoy this or whatever. I'm not here to like be the joy police, but I'm just saying like, in terms of like future value, like there's certain guys I think we should be prioritizing. Leonard Miller I also think is pretty interesting, so I do think that keep an eye on him, as he'll probably get some time here in the rotation once he gets here. So keep an eye on him. I think he might be a little bit of an impactful player, but he has a ways to go. So we face Denver, and then we're gonna face Brooklyn, and then we face Boston again. So that's fun. But then after that, we have the All-Star break. So we'll be able to kind of breathe a little bit. Either enjoy or don't enjoy the All-Star festivities, because I don't honestly know what we should do at this point with the All-Star games and everything. But Montes Buzelis will be part of the Rising Stars game, so I think we should be at least supporting him at the very least. Plan is, so today's Thursday. I will be I have some stuff to do in terms of like catching up with all these trades and everything, probably posting a YouTube video. I also have to write a bunch of stuff, but I do plan on streaming on Saturday after the Denver Nuggets game, and hopefully everyone that was traded here is going to be available to play. So we get to kind of have like a big kind of like talk about how some of these guys that were just traded here, how their play is. So that's going to be fun little stream, and some of these players making their Bulls debut, so that'll be fun. Brooklyn is going to be a weird game. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. And then Boston is going to be we're going to get absolutely destroyed. So we get to see Vucevic, though, in that Boston game. So that's going to be fun. We get to see Vucevic again. And an All-Star break. So I won't lie, I'm kind of looking forward to the All-Star break at this point now that the trade deadline's finally over. I am I'm definitely interested in seeing how some of these guys play, but I'm also very much aware that they have not practiced yet. So I'm kind of really looking forward to the All-Star break, kind of get away from this team for a little bit here, and enjoy some of the All-Star festivities and allow these guys, the new guys, to get some practice time, right? And then I'm going to be heavily interested in them when we come back from the All-Star break to kind of see how they're playing. I think that's going to be a really fun time to kind of start evaluating some of these guys. Is see how they play after they have a practice, some practice time with the team. Be a little bit more acclimated, have some time with the coaching staff and everything, so they're not just kind of running around like headless chickens out there. So I'm definitely looking forward to the All-Star break now, just to kind of have us all breathe, get away from this team, get away from the absolute depression from this team, and then get to evaluate the guys post-All-Star break when they've had some practice time and they kind of know their role a little bit better. So I think the Jazz have a bunch of first-round picks also, but they just spent 3 first-round picks on Jaren Jackson Jr., so I don't think they have... I think they still have a bunch, but I don't think they have as many as they... Well, they obviously don't have as many as they had before, but it's not that much anymore, I think. Yeah. So 1, potentially 4, 5, potentially 7, 8, and then 10, 11. That's actually a decent amount, actually. So that's pretty solid. But yeah, a lot. They did have to send some out though in that most recent trade for Jaren Jackson Jr., which I still don't understand that trade. I'm still at a loss to that trade. For the Grizzlies, it's great. I think the Grizzlies did fantastic with that deal. For the Jazz, I don't fully understand that. I don't understand what they're doing. The Jazz, their pick is top 8 protected. And so if they don't keep it in the top 8, it goes to OKC. So it's almost vital for them to tank out the rest of the season, I guess. So I guess maybe next season they're gonna actually try. But yeah, I really think that they need to take out the rest of the season. But even then, still, I don't know what sort of team they're building. Still, I think between Lowry and Jaren Jackson Jr., it's a weird mix. Yeah, some guys that don't really rebound that should rebound. Keontae George is good, but yeah, I don't know. Very odd team that is being built. I love Zubac to Indy. That is I think overall a really good trade. I will say it is pretty risky from Indiana. The picks that I think that got sent out in that, there's a pick that was what was it? It was if it falls between 5 and 9. It goes to the Clippers, but it's 1 through 4. It's 1 through 4 protected, but then it's 10 through 14 protected or something like that. So Also, will we have enough cap to go after Peyton Watson? Yeah, we do. Like, I just closed out the. Yeah, so this is the cap space for the Bulls. So look where my mouse is. Like, look where the highlighted box is. That's $52 million. That's plenty to go after Peyton Watson. Like, I think at most you need to spend is $30 million for Peyton Watson. At most, I think you might even get him for like even cheaper than that, just because the Denver Nuggets can't pay him. But I think at most you'd have to pay is $30 million. And so this is with a new IV contract of $15 million per year. You'd still have $52 million remaining. So even if Ivy got like $25 million for whatever fucking reason, that'd be a terrible job by the Bulls. But even if Ivy got like $25 million per year, then they'd still have $42 million of cap space. So they would still have plenty of cap space to go after Peyton Watson. So, yeah, again, if the Bulls don't actually do anything this offseason and they still don't want to say that they're rebuilding or tanking, and they actually like don't go and add anything, like it's just like, bro, they're truly doing nothing. You have no argument to tell me that they're doing a good job. There's nothing you could do. Like, even all the AK supporters, and there's still content creators that are still AK supporters after today, like you have nothing to tell me, and they'll still find a way to gaslight some of their fan base into thinking, no, these people that think that this front office is terrible, they're just such haters. Like, they're so pessimistic. They're such terrible people. Like, we're not going to think that way. We think positive here. We are the like-minded ones. We are the smart-minded ones. We think that this Bulls front office is doing great. We are truly the Bulls fans here. Like, there's still going to be people that do that, and I'm just going to lose my mind if the Bulls front office actually don't do anything this offseason. So I hope you guys know who I'm talking about. There's certain people. AK will be like, we aren't tanking, just wasn't interested in any free agents. Yeah. AKI supporters, oh yeah, man, oh yeah. There's certain content creators that I know that I personally will never be probably ever collaborating with. Like, it would probably help my overall like growth as like a content creator, but I don't really want to ever go and talk basketball with them because I just don't respect their basketball minds. Which I know that kind of sounds snarky, but when I read some of the stuff that they post out on Twitter or some of the videos that they've posted, like, I just lose my mind listening to them or reading what they say. It like genuinely like makes me like I look at them in a whole new light. I'm just like, I have no respect for your basketball opinion. Like, just completely just any sort of opinion that you have in basketball, I'm just like, it's wrong. Like, it's so terrible. They're in this space. They're in the Bulls content creator space. You can find them. I promise you can find them. I will not list their names on this channel, but you can find them if you search. I promise you can. There are plenty of people that still support AK, even after today. And they still try to antagonize, like, these content creators still try to antagonize the fan base that are like people like me, who if you think like me, right, like, they will antagonize you as like absolute like just haters and are like terrible people, and almost like even like kind of like almost like make you look like even like terrorists in like some sort of like way. Like, it's like you're like a vibes terrorist is kind of the way that they kind of like make you look. It's just like, bro, like, they genuinely will like make you try, like, these people will genuinely make you try to look so dumb to their fan base, and then they'll have like your fan base attack you, or they'll have like their fan base attack you, and it's just like, oh my god, man, like, it's so mind-boggling to me, the shit I see. Look, man, we all have our opinion, we're all entitled to our opinion, but the way that these people do this shit of just like they try to make it be all about like, if you're not positive, then like you're basically just a hater, and your hate arc is like invalid, or your hate for the team is invalid, therefore like we think that you have a terrible basketball mind, and just like they spin it that way is just so annoying. Like, that's the reason why this Bulls, like, they're part of the reason why this Bulls team is not going to ever fix itself, because they're the reason why that people still go to Bulls games. They're convincing their fan base that it is absolutely okay to still go and buy tickets to Bulls games. That's part of the reason why this Bulls team is going nowhere, is because you have people still, like, convincing others that, yeah, going to a Bulls game is still a fine thing to do. Spending your money for a team that has absolutely no aspirations to actually try to win is a totally fine thing to do. Because they actually do believe that this front office is still doing things fine. Like, they're fine. They're like upset with like one move, but they're like, overall though, I think the front office did a good job at this trade deadline. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? AK Spurs, yeah. I promise you, go and find some. Go and look if you want to. If you don't believe me, like, I'm not gonna be here and just be like, yo, go look at this person's channel and be like and just go and look for his like AK support and everything. Like, I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not just gonna like, you know, just like out like all these people, but like, if you really want to go and search for it, I recommend you don't, just because your brain's gonna melt from some of the shit that they say. But yeah, it's out there. People are AK supporters, just super homer Bulls fans who will support the Bulls no matter what. But no, that you're still an AK supporter in my eyes. That to me is still an AK supporter. You can't just be acting as if like, oh, you know what, no matter what, I support this team. Like, look, I support this team, right? But I criticize the fuck out of this front office, right? Like, that's the difference. I support this Bulls organization. Like, I want this Bulls organization to win, but that does not make me have to like agree with every decision that they make. Like, it doesn't make me have to be like spinning everything into a positive when it's very clearly a terrible like decision. Like, that's the thing. That to me is the difference with it. Like, you could be an all-out supporter no matter what, but you're allowed to criticize. Just because I criticize does not mean I'm not a fan, right? Like, I'm allowed to be a fan and criticize the fuck out of this team. But there's people that are like, no matter what the Bulls do, like, they're happy with it, and they may like be like, oh, that was like one bad move here or there, but like overall though, it's like, it's still good. Like, they'll still find a way to spin it as just like, no, I really like what this Bulls team is doing. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm glad for you to be in that sort of like mental headspace of like, yeah, you think that no matter what, like you're fine. Like, this Bulls team, no matter what they do, like, they can't actually find a way to like make you really sad. But I think it's just a way of thinking that is like. It's just the way that I would not want to ever be a fan personally. Like, if I was just a guy that was just like, yeah, I support this front office no matter what, and you know what, I really cheer on these guys, and I think that every single decision that they pretty much make, like, I have no like sort of doubt that they did a good job or whatever. Like, they whatever. Like, this basically blind faith. I would hate myself. Now, granted, that's me saying that. Like, it's me being aware of, like, those people really bother me. And so, yeah, I would definitely hate myself. But there's just shit that I lose my mind with when I see some of this stuff. Like, I'm like, okay. Yeah. If you want to go even find one person, there's one person that's always in my Twitter replies that just, I don't know, man. They need mental help, I feel like, honestly. I believe you too. I mean, look, man, I understand I mean, if there's one rule that everyone should ever learn in their life, is that there's other people in the world. But like, it just, the things that I read and watch sometimes, or listen to sometimes, just to be like, because again, like, I listen to other people or read other things that maybe don't, like, are not of my opinion. Like, I do that sometimes, like, to kind of see what other people are truly thinking. But there is just some shit that people do that is just like, they don't ever lay out facts. It's just straight up gaslight, and it just pure just blindness to the situation. It's not actual analysis, and that's the shit that I'm talking about right now. It's like, it's truly not analysis. It's not analysis at all. It's truly just blind faith, but they try to act as if it is analysis, and they use the whole, like, if you're not positive, like, you're a hater, as like, they try to antagonize those people. It's just like, if you're a hater, you can't actually analyze because, like, you have, like, such a bias towards this organization, and you'll never ever be happy about anything the Bulls do. Like, the Bulls could, like, win a championship and you'll still never be happy. Like, it's those people, basically. Like, that's not analysis. But what they'll do, though, is that they'll spin what you think into being like, no, you're not actually analyzing, you're just hating. And I'm like, no, you're just, like, those actual people that do that, they're the ones that don't actually analyze. They're just straight up just being absolute just dipshits. And they're trying to build a platform off of, oh, we're going to gang up on the haters, basically. And I'm like, you guys are so stupid. Like, genuinely. It's super duper great. Can't do no wrong in my eyes. All hail like Marcus Pfizer. Yeah, it's just like I'm just befuddled by how they think. But hey, if it rings in dollars, like, you know, so be it. Like, props to them. You bring in some money. But I will never understand how they think. Because, look, I want to have basketball conversations with everybody, man. Like, I want to talk with everybody about basketball, whether it is the Bulls or just any other team. Like, that's what I love doing, man. Like, bro, I come on here and I've streamed for more than 2.5 hours tonight. Like, I mean, we just talk, right? Like, it's awesome. We get to talk basketball on this platform, and like, I love the fuck out of it. Like, it's awesome. But there also just comes a time and point, though, where it's like, I want to actually have some, like, actual conversations versus me trying to convince someone else that I'm not a hater because they have this some sort of, like, thinking way of, like, oh, if you are criticizing the team, you're just a hater, therefore, like, you're not actually analyzing the team. When I'm just like, what have you done to analyze the team? All you say is that just like, oh, you're a hater, therefore you're not really a fan, or you don't actually analyze. Like, I just, like, I don't want to talk to those people at all. But, like, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I've had a lot of discussions with people about, like, I disagree with them on their current analysis, but that's good conversation. I think, though, that's a great conversation at the end of the day. If someone comes to a different conclusion with their analysis and they give, like, actual valid reasons why, and of why they think certain way, I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I'll take your input, honestly. I'll honestly, like, I really will take in what you say and, like, what your analysis is, and I'll honestly consider that sort of viewpoint. I'm gonna give my reasonings of why I think a certain way and my analysis, and, you know, give you my evidence for it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's great conversation. But there's just people that just don't do that. There's people that just are like, nope, we just want to call out the haters in the Bulls nation. Just like, oh boy. I don't know. They might get a lot of joy out of it, honestly. And you know what? If that's their joy, then you know, good for them. But they're not going to talk with me personally about that, or try to throw that sort of angle at me. I understand there's also fans that just, like, get swayed with, like, everything, right? You know, that's fine too. But again, I want, like, true analysis, though. Like, I want actually, like, you to, like, give me, like, reasons why you think a certain way, versus just you saying that my opinion's invalid because, like, I'm just a hater. Yeah, that's basically it, though. It's just I genuinely just want to go punch a wall sometimes when I see some of this shit. There's some stuff that I've seen in the past, like, 48 hours that I am absolutely befuddled from some of these people. It truly doesn't make any fucking sense. I also really do think that there's also a big part of Bulls Nation that are just like, oh wow, brand new shiny toy, right? Like it's just the whole like kind of stigma of like, oh wow, we have like a brand new fucking roster. We have players that we've never seen before, and so they're gonna be watching the game basically and being like, we only see the good because that's all we want to see right now because it's a brand new toy. When it's, you know, someone like me can be like, I think Ivy, you know, had some nice moments today, but he also then mostly, like, especially in the second half, like, he had a lot of defensive lapses, like, he had some bad turnovers early, and, like, we saw him, you know, not give effort in, like, the fourth quarter defensively. Like, he was, like, completely just, like, kind of letting some guys just, like, do whatever they want. You know, like, I want Ivy to succeed. I want Ivy to become a superstar here. But me like pointing out some of the issues that he had today with his play, it does not mean that I am suddenly a hater. Like that's the thing. It's not suddenly a hater. Just because I criticize Josh Giddey for some things does not mean I'm a hater. I want this guy to succeed. I'm just pointing out his weaknesses in his game. But if I do that according to some people, it calls me a hater. And I'm just like, you can't just suddenly be like, oh, Josh Giddey is like an amazing player, blah 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 blah, and be like, that's analysis. And I'm like, okay, well, let me tell you his weaknesses, and you're just like, no, that's hating. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've seen some tweets recently just about how like Giddey should have been in as an all-star over Norman Powell, and I'm just like, no. You can have that opinion, but at the end of the day, like, Norman Powell was chosen, so I don't know what's wrong. Like, it just is what it is. And I honestly don't think Giddey was really even close, honestly, at the end of the day. I think there's more players. Like, I mean, hell, Brandon Ingram wasn't, like, we saw him tonight. Like, he wasn't selected as an all-star. Like, I think he deserves it over Giddey as well. Bam Adebayo, I mean, I know he hasn't had the best year, but like, still, like, I mean, it's just like, there's just guys out there that I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I can see like a serious like argument why they deserve it over Josh Giddey. A lot of people don't talk about Derek White, but like, yeah, I mean, there's also that guy. So it's just, I don't know. It's a weird time right now in Bulls fandom because, like, I think there's a lot of people that see like this team is truly just not going anywhere right now. And this front office is a serious issue, but then there's the part of the fan base that just like really just wants to like cheer no matter what. But then there's the other part of the fan base that like their entire kind of like platform is built off of like, oh, we support AK, we support this and this. And so when shit hits the fan, like they don't want to switch because of their ego. And therefore, it's just like, okay, well, we're gonna keep cheering on. I hope things get better, and so it just convinces part of the fan base to still be bought in. And I'm like, I'm telling you to just not be part of that anymore. So it's a weird time, but I'm hoping things get better. I hope that we see some good play from some of the new players that come in, especially from Giddey and Dillingham. Hope to see Buzelis play well moving forward. I hope that he's gonna. I mean, again, like good start tonight from Buzelis. Like it's a good kind of first game since the trade deadline. I'm happy with his performance tonight. Pretty pleased overall. So hopefully he can continue with that. I want more shots for him. I want some more opportunities for him. I've even kind of noticed like they've been running like a little like kind of. Buzelis Ivy pick and roll, which is pretty cool. So hope to see more of that sort of stuff. But that being said, thank you all for tuning in for tonight's stream. Appreciate y'all listening to all my thoughts and my trade issues or trade analysis and the issues I had with all the trades today. Could be some rough games, I think, kind of up ahead here in terms of like just kind of basketball play, just because all these guys are coming in. I have to like learn, the playbook, learn the schemes and everything. So it's definitely gonna be rough, I think, on the games up until the All-Star break. So I'm not gonna put like too much like stock into these games in terms of just like how certain guys play, especially the new players. But after that, though, I do think we have to like kind of start evaluating post All-Star break pretty heavily. So definitely important time. But if you hit like button on the stream, helps me out a lot. I appreciate the likes on the streams recently. It's been great. If you're new to a channel like Bulls content, please subscribe. Making Bulls content all season long. Be on the lookout for some content from me in terms of like video and also written form. That should be coming out in the next or sometime during this weekend. I'll let you guys know on the community tab if I do post anything, as well as on my Twitter. So yeah, just stay in touch with me, and I'll see you guys no matter what, though, after, or most likely I should say, after the game on Saturday. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for tonight. See y'all at least on Saturday. Peace.